In Linhai First People's Hospital, in the intensive care unit, a person was slowly wheeled out. If one looked closely, they would discover that the person being wheeled out was Zhou Rui. Beside him, Zhou Xian followed closely, but at this moment, his face wore a look of misery, a look of despair. Next to them, Zhou Rui's mother, a middle-aged woman, had eyes that were swollen and red from crying. They followed Zhou Rui all the way to the ward. After several days of treatment, Zhou Rui had finally been transferred out of the intensive care unit and into a normal ward. After settling down, Zhou Rui slowly opened his eyes, looked at Zhou Xian and the middle-aged woman, and said weakly, "Dad, Mom, what's wrong with you?" Zhou Xian sighed. He looked at Zhou Rui and said, "Zhou Rui, the family is going to be finished." "What?" Zhou Rui, who had just gotten a little better, felt as if struck by lightning. "They are no longer willing to support us. Without their funding, the bank loans are constantly being taken, and many shareholders are also thieves." "Sorry," Zhou Xian said with a tired look on his face. "We probably won't last a month, and we'll have to declare bankruptcy." "How is that possible? How could this be possible?" Zhou Rui's mind was about to explode. He was originally a top second-generation rich kid in Linhai. He was injured, just woke up and was recovering. He hadn't even investigated how he had the car accident, hadn't even gotten revenge on the person who caused his car accident. But he was told that his family was going bankrupt. Bankruptcy meant he would become a pauper, and the people he had offended before would frantically retaliate against him. Baiyao would be impossible for him to get. Thinking of all this, he felt like his mind was about to collapse. "Dad, you must be joking with me." Zhou Rui hurriedly shook his head and said, "Sai, I've cashed out a little money for you in these 2 days. You and your mother should go abroad, even though your injury hasn't fully healed." After Zhou Xian finished speaking, his face was filled with endless exhaustion. Zhou Rui lay on the bed, his mind in chaos. At the same time, in Linhai, in a very remote, fly-infested restaurant. Although it was just a fly-infested restaurant, the business here was very good, and it was bustling with noise. In the middle area, a middle-aged man in a trench coat sat there. He was wearing gloves, and several dishes were placed in front of him, but the middle-aged man didn't touch them. His face had a deep scar, and just sitting there, he gave people a feeling of deterrence. In his hand, he held a pocket watch. After a while, a man and 2 women walked over, and then sat down in front of them. "You're quite punctual." The middle-aged man put away his pocket watch, glanced at the 3 of them, and said, "I thought you'd been living in this city for too long and had forgotten who you are." A trace of nervousness appeared on the faces of the 3 people, and they quickly sat down, not daring to say a word. The middle-aged man looked at the 3 of them and said calmly, "Receive news. Wang Jiechi will leave Linhai early tomorrow morning. If we let her return to Yanjing, it will be a bit troublesome to take her down again. You must make a move tonight." But the Wang family brought their own experts, and in Linhai, there are also quite a few night watchmen. That's something you need to consider, the middle-aged man said in a calm tone. In addition, 0 of the former night watchmen is also in Linhai. I ran into him last night. Did you fight him? One of the women asked. No, the middle-aged man said here. A trace of embarrassment flashed across his face and said, he went to kill Sean Dempsey's last night. When I heard Sean Dempsey say his name, I couldn't help but run. The 3 people. Then did you see what he looks like? Another person asked. Didn't dare to look. The middle-aged man breathed a sigh of relief and said, so when you make a move, confirm your safety, but I guess he won't make a move either. The former number 2 of the night watchman was injured by me. He should be taking care of him. What about you? The man asked. I have something I need to do. I have to leave first. If you capture Wang Jiechi, take her to Yinjing overnight. I will give you the specific address, the middle-aged man said. Kidnapping Wang Jiechi was originally supposed to be his task, but after knowing about Yi Xian's existence, he planned to slip away first. Yi Xian naturally didn't know about everything that was happening. At this time, he looked at the man in front of him in astonishment and said, we agreed to meet at 7 o'clock. I'm not late. But you're still the last one to arrive. The handsome man said with a smile. So many girls arrived first. Shouldn't you offer some apology? And I have quite a few friends watching the live stream. Xiaoyun, stop it. Wang Jiechi frowned and said. Yi Xian frowned slightly. When he sat down at the table, he saw a mobile phone propped up on the table with a selfie stick. He thought it was for Wang Jiechi and the others to record their last dinner together, but but he didn't expect it was Xie Yun doing a live stream. Not surprisingly, this guy should be doing outdoor live streaming, and his popularity should not be low. So many people came to ask him for photos. Yi Xian didn't like being exposed to the attention of many people. Fortunately, the camera lens was facing Xie Yun's side, and not aimed at Yi Xian's side. Xie Yun heard Wang Jiechi actually speak up for Yi Xian, and felt even more unhappy. He opened 3 bottles of wine and placed them on the table and said, "Brother, if you are a man, I think you should drink them. So many people are watching." As he spoke, his expression slightly changed and said, "How about this? I'll drink with you." "How about that?" Wang Jiechi hurriedly whispered, "Don't drink with him. Don't look at him being so thin, but he's a food streamer. He can eat and drink a lot." Yi Xian raised his eyebrows and thought to himself, "Very good at drinking? As the only 2 men at this table, I've already said I'll drink with you, no problem, right?" Xie Yun looked at Yi Xian and asked with a sneer. "Then no problem," Yi Xian said with a smile. Wang Jiechi and Chun Shi were both stunned. Wang Jiechi said in a low voice, "Didn't you hear what I told you? This Xie Yun is really super good at drinking. And he's just doing it for the show. Wanted to see you make a fool of yourself after getting drunk." Seeing Wang Jiechi and Yi Xian whispering, the cold light in Xie Yun's eyes became even stronger. Seeming to be afraid that Yi Xian would go back on his word, he quickly placed the 3 bottles of wine in front of Yi Xian. Yi Xian saw his expression and sighed in his heart. He could see that this Xie Yun obviously had feelings for Wang Jiechi, and he was arranged by Wang Jiechi to sit next to her. Xie Yun was a little unhappy, and coupled with Wang Jiechi chatting with him from time to time, made him even more unhappy. So he wanted to get Yi Xian drunk and see Yi Xian make a fool of himself. "He's really petty." Yi Xian touched his nose. "Brother, I'll go first. You take your time," Xie Yun said, and directly started chugging the bottle. Wang Jiechi and Chun Shi just wanted to stop them, but found that Yi Xian also picked up a bottle, and a trace of helplessness flashed across both of their faces. The 3 bottles of wine were quickly finished. Yi Xian let out a hiccup. Wang Jiechi and Chun Shi were both surprised. They had never seen Yi Xian drink alcohol. They didn't expect Yi Xian's alcohol capacity to be quite good. "Not bad, buddy." Opposite him, Xie Yun said with a smile. "Didn't see it. You can hold your liquor so well. Then today I have to have a good drink with you." Yi Xian smiled and said, "Sure." Then, the 2 of them seemed to have locked horns. Xie Yun kept finding various reasons to get Yi Xian to drink. From beer to hard liquor, and then to mixed depth charges. Xie Yun kept finding reasons. Yi Xian accepted all comers and kept drinking. When it comes to drinking, Yi Xian was really not afraid of anyone. Beside them, Wang Jiechi and their group changed from persuading them at the beginning to becoming shocked later on. Especially Wang Jiechi and Chun Shi. They completely didn't expect that Yi Xian kept drinking and drinking, and even didn't go to the bathroom once, and his face was completely unchanged. Of course, along with the 2 people's confrontation, Xie Yun's live stream, the live stream effect was indeed explosive. 2 hours later, Yi Xian was still sitting there with an unchanged expression, while Xie Yun opposite him was speaking a bit incoherently. "Kid." He picked up a glass of wine and said, "Didn't expect old man. Underestimated you. Actually can drink so much. Today I must get you drunk, let you see what kind of stuff you are." Along with getting drunk, his speech also began to become a little unclear, and he couldn't sit very steadily either. Yi Xian frowned, glanced at him, and said, "You should stop drinking. You're drunk." "Drunk? Just you." He stood up unsteadily and said, "You kid. At first glance, you're just a poor loser, Jiechi. Actually invited you to dinner. Are you worthy of sitting together with her? Jiechi, I love you. Be my girlfriend." Beside them, Yi Xian almost laughed out loud. Wang Jiechi had a face full of embarrassment and glared at Yi Xian hatefully. At this time, Xie Yun looked around and said, I need to go to the toilet. Where's the toilet?" After speaking, he glanced at Wang Jiechi again and said, "Jiechi, after I go to the toilet, I'll properly confess my love to you again today. I'm going to take you to a hotel." "Xie Yun, you're drunk. You should go back quickly and turn off his live stream," Wang Jiechi said. Someone went to get the phone, and at this time, in his live stream, the barrage had already exploded. Xie Yun was obviously completely drunk. He stood up unsteadily, looked around because they were in a side location. He walked to the window and said, "I'm going to pee. You guys look away." The commotion here quickly attracted other customers to come over and watch. "That's not the toilet," Wang Jiechi hurriedly roared. But Xie Yun ignored her. He seemed to be unable to hold it in anymore, and then directly took it out and started peeing right there. While peeing, he said enjoyably, "Comfortable." The moment Xie Yun started urinating against the window, his live stream exploded. The comments were scrolling densely across the phone screen. A woman next to the phone sensed something was wrong and rushed over to grab the phone and shut down the live stream. However, the scene had already been recorded by many viewers in the live stream room. Xin was also dumbfounded. He had seen many people act crazy when drunk, but this was the first time he had seen someone so outrageous. It would have been one thing if they had just run into a lot of people at Hadaleo, but there was also a huge crowd in the live stream room. Wang Jiechi's face was completely flushed. She glared at Xin and said, "It's all your fault. Look at all these people watching us. It's so embarrassing." Xin said helplessly, "He kept wanting to drink with me, and I couldn't refuse. It's not my fault." Wang Jiechi was frustrated. It was true that Xie Yun had been the one pestering Xin to drink, and Xin was just passively responding. It was just that no one expected Xin's alcohol tolerance to be so high. Even now, when Xie Yun was somewhat delirious, Xin was still acting like nothing was wrong. Wang Jiechi's expression was ugly as she said, "What do we do now?" "The Hadaleo staff are coming," Xin said. "That's right. The people at Hadaleo were going crazy." This was the first time they had encountered someone who, after getting drunk, would just start urinating by the window in full view of everyone. How were other customers supposed to eat after he peed there? They quickly sent up a lot of people. Some were mopping the floor, while others were trying to stop Xie Yun. Xie Yun seemed to be done urinating. He looked relieved, then tilted his neck, turned his head, and saw Wang Jiechi and the others looking at him. He asked in surprise, "Huh? Why are you guys in the men's restroom?" "Mr. Xie," the Hadaleo waiter quickly said, "This is not the restroom." "Oh, I want to take a dump now," Xie Yun suddenly said. "Holy crap, ruthless." Everyone was stunned. "Sir, the restroom is over here. Can I take you there?" The staff at the restaurant were about to explode. "This is the restroom," Xie Yun said stubbornly. "Do you know who I am? I'm going to do it here today. Even if the Heavenly King comes, I'm still going to do it here." The waiter quickly went over to stop him. At this moment, Xie Yun's entire face showed a look of enjoyable relief. Then, a foul stench emanated from him. Comfortable. He had just pooped in his pants. Xin was stunned. This was even more dramatic than watching a TV show. Wang Jiechi couldn't wait any longer. She quickly took out her phone, made a call, and said, "Uncle, hurry up and help. Take this guy and send him home." Soon a middle-aged man came over. He looked at Xie Yun on the ground and frowned, but he didn't care that he was disgusting. He directly slapped him on the neck. Xie Yun, who was still acting drunk, opened his eyes, and then fainted comfortably. "Uncle, quickly take him home. I'll send you his home address," Wang Jiechi quickly said. Xin was also sizing up the middle-aged man. Obviously, he was the one sent by the Wang family to protect Wang Jiechi. Hearing Wang Jiechi's words, he frowned. "Don't worry. I'll drive myself and go back safely. There won't be any danger," Wang Jiechi said again. The middle-aged man nodded and said, "Okay, I'll take him home first. I'll be back soon." With that, he directly picked up Xie Yun, took Xie Yun's phone and selfie stick, and carried Xie Yun out. All around, there were sounds of pointing and whispering. Many people were looking towards them. Wang Jiechi also felt that she couldn't stay any longer. She quickly ran over to pay the bill and dragged Chen Shi and the others out. "Are we still going out?" Chen Shi asked. "Let's forget it. I have to get up early tomorrow morning to catch a flight," Wang Jiechi said. "I need to go home and pack first." "All right," Chen Shi said. "Then I'll come to Yanjing to see you during the holidays. Anyway, the holidays are only about half a month away." "Okay," Wang Jiechi said. After Chun Shi finished speaking, she looked at Xin and said, "Xin, you and Jiechi live in the same neighborhood. I'll leave Jiechi to you. You have to get her home safely." Xin nodded. "Okay." The girls hadn't been drinking. The group said goodbye to Wang Jiechi. After they left, Wang Jiechi took out a car key and fled to open the car door and get in. Although the one who was embarrassed just now was Xie Yun. They were with Xie Yun and felt the same way. After getting into the car, Wang Jiechi looked at Yi Xian and said, "Tomorrow when Xie Yun wakes up and remembers what happened today, he definitely won't let you off the hook. You should stay away from him. He was the one who asked me to drink with him. He got drunk and acted crazy. What does it have to do with me?" Yi Xian said speechlessly. "But he still won't let you off the hook," Wang Jiechi said. "It doesn't matter. Anyway, we won't be seeing each other in the future." Yi Xian shrugged and said, "And isn't he just a streamer? What can he do to me? Forget it. I'll warn him tomorrow and tell him not to bother you." Wang Jiechi sighed and said, "Tomorrow I'm leaving Linhai. I'll drive around Linhai. Come for a ride with me." Yi Xian didn't refuse. They drove around Linhai. Wang Jiechi looked at Yi Xian strangely and asked, "By the way, Yi Xian, are you really not from the underworld? Here we go again." Yi Xian touched his nose and said, "I don't understand what you're talking about." "TSK. Boring. Wang Jiechi said, "Forget it, let's go back." At this time, it was already around 11 o'clock at night. They drove back to the underground parking garage of the neighborhood. Just as they parked the car, Yi Xian's expression changed slightly, and Wang Jiechi's face changed drastically as she said, "Yi Xian, run." "Huh." The next moment, three figures quickly rushed towards them. Bang! A huge iron rod directly smashed into the car's windshield, and the windshield shattered instantly. Yi Xian and Wang Jiechi quickly opened the car doors and jumped out of the car. The next moment, from both sides, two women holding daggers rushed towards Wang Jiechi from both wings. Wang Jiechi's pretty face changed, but she didn't show any panic. A wave of air surged from her body, and she jumped up from the ground and landed on the roof of the car. And on the other side, the man holding the iron rod went straight for Yi Xian. "Stop!" Wang Jiechi shouted. "Don't touch him. I'll go with you." Beside, Yi Xian's expression moved slightly. He didn't expect Wang Jiechi to choose to go with the other party in order to protect him. This girl is quite loyal. TSK, Miss Wang, is this your boyfriend? Your taste in men is not good." The strong man looked at Yi Xian with a smile and said, "Unfortunately, he discovered us, so he must die." Wang Jiechi's face changed. At this time, the strong man's iron rod was raised again. "Yi Xian, don't just stand there, run." Wang Jiechi saw Yi Xian standing there without moving, and her face changed drastically. She thought Yi Xian was scared stiff. And that strong man, the iron rod slammed down hard on Yi Xian's head. "Don't!" Wang Jiechi was horrified and wanted to go and save Yi Xian. But at this time, the two women holding daggers blocked her way. Bang! At this moment, the sound of impact rang out. Wang Jiechi couldn't help but close her eyes. The other three people's pupils contracted at the same time. The strong man looked at Yi Xian in astonishment. He found that the iron rod he had smashed down was grabbed by Yi Xian. At the same time, he saw a smile on the corner of Yi Xian's mouth. Bang! The next moment, Yi Xian punched him directly in the head. Yi Xian punched, hitting the burly man squarely in the abdomen. The man's eyes widened, then began to fill with blood. Bang! His back seemed to have been pierced by a bullet, his clothes ripping open. Pfft! Blood spurted from his mouth. Thump! With bloodshot eyes wide open, he collapsed to his knees, then slumped to the ground. The two women were completely stunned. Instant knockout. What did this mean? Of the three, this man had been the strongest fighter. They were slightly weaker, and this burly man was equivalent to a gold-level assassin in Red Lotus. This level of skill made him a true expert in the underworld. Yet he had been felled by a single punch from Yi Xian. Most importantly, the process wasn't visually spectacular. It was just a punch. The man didn't fly back several meters. But the fact that he didn't fly back was even more terrifying, demonstrating Yi Xian's exquisite control over his power. The two women exchanged glances, the same thought flashing through their minds. Run! But Yi Xian wouldn't give them the chance. Wang Jiechi had closed her eyes when she saw the club swing down. However, the expected scream never came. She heard a thud and opened her eyes. The scene before her stunned her. The burly man lay on the ground. Then she saw Yi Xian explode forward, catching up to the two fleeing women in an instant. He grabbed their clothes and yanked them back. Both women fell to the ground almost simultaneously. Before they could get up, EXIN had snatched their daggers, holding them to their throats. "Don't move," EXIN said lazily. Wang Jiechi watched the scene in shock. She was considered a skilled fighter among ordinary people, but seeing EXIN in action, she knew he was far, far stronger than her, probably even stronger than the people her family sent to protect her. "Top tier at least," she murmured to herself. "Don't just stand there. Come and help," EXIN said to her with a smile. Wang Jiechi snapped back to reality and hurried over. EXIN handed her a dagger. "Hold her at bay while I make a call." He took out his phone and called Jichiyu. First floor of the underground parking garage. 3 people attacked Wang Jiechi. "I've subdued them. Come quickly." Seeing EXIN's call, Wang Jiechi's eyes flickered. She asked, "Are you Night Watch?" Clearly, Wang Jiechi knew about Night Watch and knew they were secretly protecting her. It wasn't difficult to guess after seeing EXIN's call. EXIN smiled at her. Don't mention this to anyone." Wang Jiechi stared at EXIN, a flicker of excitement in her eyes. The 2 women on the ground paled when they heard EXIN was from Night Watch. One of them quickly said, "We were wrong. Please let us go. We were forced to do this. We normally live ordinary lives in the city. If we hadn't come to kidnap her, we would have been killed." "I don't believe you," EXIN said dismissively, ignoring their pleas. 2 minutes later, Jichiyu and Ming Xiaonan appeared in the parking garage. Seeing the 3 captives, Jichiyu asked, "Red Lotus?" "I don't know. I didn't see any Red Lotus markings, and I can't exactly strip them down to check here," EXIN said with an awkward cough. Jichiyu blushed, glanced at Wang Jiechi, and said, "You should take her back first. Xiaonan and I will handle this. She's returning to Yinjing tomorrow, so let's not have any more incidents." EXIN nodded, tossed the daggers to Jichiyu, and stood up. "Let's go," he said to Wang Jiechi. Wang Jiechi followed EXIN into the elevator. When they were alone, excitement sparkled in her eyes. "When you modeled for us before, I knew you weren't ordinary. I knew you were from the underworld, but you wouldn't admit it. Now you've finally revealed yourself," EXIN said helplessly. "Hey, I just saved your life, you know. You lied to me before, but I know you Night Watch people are very low-key. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone, not even my family. What number are you in Night Watch? You're so strong, a top-tier expert, at least in the top 50, right? You know quite a bit about Night Watch," EXIN said, looking at her in surprise. "Of course. My dream is to join Night Watch, wear the uniform, carry twin blades, punish evil, and protect the peace of the world." "How cool is that?" Wang Jiechi said. "Unfortunately, my family won't let me." EXIN paused. The Wang family, a true reclusive powerhouse, was in a sense part of the underworld. They had their own martial arts heritage. Their children could enjoy peace and a good life in the city. There was no need to risk their lives in Night Watch. "You still haven't told me what number you are?" Wang Jiechi asked. "I don't have a number," EXIN said, touching his nose. "Nonsense, if you don't want to tell me, just say so. Don't lie to me again." Wang Jiechi glared at him. The elevator arrived. Wang Jiechi snorted and ran out. "Don't worry, I won't ask. I know the Night Watch rules." She ran off. EXIN followed her to the door. Wang Jiechi opened it. EXIN thought for a moment and decided to stay with her until her protection arrived, just in case. He followed her inside. Wang Jiechi excitedly asked him about Night Watch. Since she knew a little, EXIN selectively shared some information, making her eyes shine. About half an hour later, the door opened, and a middle-aged man from Hadaleo entered. He paused when he saw Wang Jiechi and EXIN together, a hint of coldness in his eyes as he looked at EXIN. "Uncle," Wang Jiechi said. "Uncle Lin, this is the neighbor I mentioned before, EXIN. EXIN, this is my uncle Lin Ping." "Hello," the middle-aged man said flatly, glancing at EXIN. Then he frowned. "Jiechi, don't bring boys home casually. Your parents will scold you." "Okay, I know," Wang Jiechi pouted. Perhaps afraid of worrying Lin Ping, she didn't mention the attack. Nor did she mention EXIN's connection to Night Watch. Back in the parking garage, facing danger, she had been willing to sacrifice herself so EXIN could escape. That had greatly increased his favorable impression of her. He stood up and smiled. "I'll be going then. Have a safe trip tomorrow." Wang Jiechi nodded. "If you ever come to Yinjing, call me. I'll show you around." "Okay," EXIN smiled. Lin Ping's poker face remained expressionless. He looked at Yi Xin and said, "I'll see you out." Yi Xin didn't refuse. "All right," he nodded. Lin Ping escorted Yi Xin to the elevator. Then he said calmly, "Just take what Jiechi said earlier lightly. Don't take it to heart." Yi Xion's expression shifted slightly. He glanced at Lin Ping. "Which part are you referring to?" "All of it," Lin Ping said, looking at Yi Xion. "Young man, Jiechi has mentioned you a lot recently at home, but I hope you understand who you are and the difference between you and Jiechi. Don't harbor any illusions about her. If you just like her, that's fine. But if she starts liking you too, you'll only be hurting yourself." Ding! The elevator arrived. Yi Xion touched his nose and stepped inside. He didn't respond to Lin Ping's words. Looking at his poker face, he smiled as the elevator doors slowly closed. When Yi Xion returned to Zhichuyu's home, Zhichuyu and Ming Xiaonan were already back. "So fast?" Yi Xion asked, surprised. "I contacted Qin Guoxing directly. They were already in Linhai," Zhichuyu said, then looked at Yi Xion. "Xiaonan and I will be on the same flight to Yinjing as Wang Jiechi tomorrow. You should finish up here and come over as soon as possible. There are other missions waiting for you in Yinjing, besides Wang Jiechi's situation." "What missions?" Yi Xion asked. "I'll tell you when you get to Yinjing," Zhichuyu said thoughtfully. "Also, we'll try to erase all information about you online. In Yinjing, your identity will be an ordinary company employee." "Seriously?" Yi Xion exclaimed. "You want me to work a 9-to-5 job? It's just an arrangement. Nobody will care if you're late or leave early," Zhichuyu said, exasperated. "Besides, you own 20% of the company." "Oh," Yi Xion said, touching his nose. "Fine. Make your arrangements, assign me the missions, and give me a list of Red Lotus members in Yinjing, as well as those from the organizations involved in the previous attacks. I'll slaughter them one by one." "We'll arrange that," Zhichuyu said with a cold smile. "These underground organizations are becoming increasingly active. It's time to give them a warning." She looked at Yi Xion. "While number 2 is recovering, try to finish everything else here." Yi Xion nodded. "Understood. By the way, how's Shichi doing?" "She's recovering. She can walk around for short periods now. Her recovery ability is quite strong. I estimate she'll be fully recovered in about 10 days, Zhichuyu said. Yi Xian breathed a sigh of relief. After chatting for a while, Zhichuyu and Ming Xiaonan went to pack. Since they were leaving the next day, they weren't going out on night duty. While they packed, Yi Xian went back to the ward to spend some time with Huang Shiqi before washing up and going to bed. The next morning, Yi Xian was woken up by a phone call at around 10 o'clock. It was Lei Bin. "Hello," Yi Xian answered. "What's up? Come to the company," Lei Bin said. "What's going on between you and that Qin Shuer? She's brought people to our company and is causing a scene." "Brought people? Oh, can't you just throw them out?" Yi Xian asked, perplexed. "Throwing them out? Might not be that easy," Lei Bin said, touching his nose. "You'll understand when you get here." Lei Bin hung up. Yi Xian touched his nose, looking at his phone suspiciously. He got out of bed and went to check on Huang Shiqi. "Feeling better?" "A little better. Help me up. I want to watch some TV," Huang Shiqi said. "Also, I'm a little hungry." Yi Xian chuckled. He helped Huang Shiqi onto the sofa, turned on the TV, and went downstairs to the supermarket to buy her a bunch of snacks. Then he quickly washed up and headed to Han Yu Group. Meanwhile, in a villa on the other side of Linhai, Xie woke up in bed with a splitting headache. He looked around and mumbled, "How did I get home?" Then he realized something was wrong. He was naked. What the hell? His heart skipped a beat. He had no memory of what happened last night after a certain point. He only remembered drinking with Yi Xian, glass after glass, both hard liquor and beer, and then he blacked out. "Damn, that guy can really hold his liquor," Xie Yun cursed. "I hope I didn't make a fool of myself." He opened his phone and WeChat. Ding! Ding! A flood of messages popped up. He opened the first one. Someone had sent him a dozen messages and a video. "Holy shit, Xie, what happened? Did you get drunk yesterday? Someone recorded you peeing on the window and uploaded it online." Xie Yun's heart pounded. He opened the video. Sure enough, it was a video of him drunk, and his head started to spin. He opened the second video. This one was recorded by someone at Hadaleo, when he saw himself saying, "Even if the King of Heaven comes, I'm going to take a shit here today," he wanted to die. He tremblingly opened Weibo. There were over 30,000 comments on his Weibo. The top comment was a trending hashtag giving him a nickname. Hashtag PissKing. Xie Yun's expression gradually morphed into horror as he read the mocking comments on Weibo. Art, he let out a miserable howl. Yi Xian, I'm not done with you. Yi Xian, naturally, was unaware of Xie Yun's new title as Piss King. He arrived at Hanyu Group by taxi, went inside, and quickly found Lei Bin on the top floor. Who is it, he asked. Huang Jiejie, the young master of Xinhai Bank, is here, Lei Bin said with a sigh. You know, old Master Huang favors this grandson the most. He personally brought Qin Shuer here, and it's hard for me to say anything. Yi Xian frowned. The person behind Xinhai Bank was Huang Zongshi, the old Master Huang that Lei Bin referred to. Although Xinhai Bank had enormous funds, Huang Zongshi kept a very low profile. Yi Xian only knew 3 members of his family: Huang Zongshi, Huang Liang, and Huang Zongshi's granddaughter, Huang Xian. He wasn't familiar with the others. So, Qin Shuer and Huang Jiejie are a thing? Yi Xian asked. Obviously, Qin Shuer's career was built on Huang Jiejie's money, Lei Bin said. Yi Xian touched his nose. Looks like old Master Huang failed in educating his descendants. He actually fancies a white lotus like Qin Shuer. This guy is probably a spoiled brat too. I'll teach him a lesson for old Master Huang. Lei Bin's lips twitched slightly. Probably only Yi Xian would dare to say such a thing. Where are they? Yi Xian asked. In the conference room, Lei Bin replied. I'll take you there. Yi Xian nodded. Led by Lei Bin, they reached a large conference room. Pushing the door open, Yi Xian saw several people inside. Qin Shuer, still wearing sunglasses, sat there prettily. Behind her stood the burly brother Su, nodding and bowing obsequiously. In the main seat sat a young man dressed plainly, not like a rich young master, just in jeans and a t-shirt. He also wore sunglasses and had his feet propped up on the table. Seeing Yi Xian, he pointed and asked, Is this the bastard? Qin Shuer said in a cloying voice that made Yi Xian's skin crawl. Brother Jiejie, yes, it's him. He bullied me yesterday, cost me the Hanyu Group endorsement, and embarrassed me in front of that disgusting Lu Jia. He even made me lose my script. Huang Jiejie looked at Yi Xian, sneered, and said, Kid, you've got guts. Then he looked at Lei Bin. President Lei, is this kid your illegitimate son or something? Why are you protecting him? Huang Jiejie, watch your mouth, Lei Bin said, frowning. Huang Jiejie scoffed, ignoring Lei Bin completely. He waved his hands slightly. Beat him up first, then we'll talk. He was incredibly arrogant. Lei Bin's expression changed slightly. But Yi Xian laughed. He looked at Qin Shuer and said with a smile, It seems I really need to teach old Master Huang's grandson a lesson. Hearing Yi Xian's words, Huang Jiejie was taken aback. Then his face flushed with rage. How dare you address my grandfather by his name? Yi Xian touched his nose and asked with a smile. Tell me, what do you plan to do now that you're here? Huang Jiejie took off his sunglasses, glanced at Yi Xian, and said, Simple. The endorsement continues. Your investment in that movie continues. You get fired from Hanyu Group, and I have my people teach you a lesson. Of course, now that you've addressed my grandfather by name and been so disrespectful, I'm going to have you hospitalized for 2 months, Huang Jiejie said. Qin Shuer sneered. Weren't you quite arrogant yesterday, Yi Xian? Lei Bin scoffed. Huang Jiejie, you think too highly of yourself. I told you clearly, I won't use this woman. Qin Shuer's face changed, and she whined to Huang Jiejie. Brother Jiejie. Huang Jiejie glared at Lei Bin. President Lei, you surely know she's my woman, right? If I hadn't come to Linhai, I wouldn't have known she was being bullied by you. Believe it or not, if I tell my grandfather, he'll withdraw his support for you and help the Yi family instead. Yi Xian touched his nose. She might be many people's woman. What did you say, kid? Huang Jiejie's face turned green. He stared at Yi Xian. What are you waiting for? Beat him up. Let's see who dares to touch him. Lei Bin sneered. Yi Xian waved his hand dismissively. Sigh, as expected, Huang Zongshi's family education leaves much to be desired. The Huang family actually produced such a spoiled brat. You have plenty of money to waste, so that's fine, but to actually like a white lotus like Qin Shuer is truly disappointing. Today, I have to teach you a lesson on behalf of Huang Zongshi. He took a step forward. Huang Jiejie, with his feet still propped up on the table. Didn't have time to react before Yi Xian grabbed him and dragged him out of his chair. Stop! The men Huang Jejia brought with him paled. Don't move! Laban charged forward, kicking one man and pointing a finger at another in a threatening manner. He was from Night Watch. Even with a missing hand, he was no match for these ordinary people. Yi Xian, do you know who I am? How dare you touch me? You must be tired of living. Huang Jejia roared furiously. Yi Qin simulate. Really? Bang! 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 He proceeded to punch and kick Huang Jejia. Of course, he controlled his strength perfectly, inflicting pain but no serious injuries. Ah! Huang Jejia rolled around on the floor from the beating. Qin Shuer was stunned. This was Huang Jejia, the young master of Xinhai Bank, one of the richest people in the world. And Yi Xian was actually beating him up. Although she sat there unharmed, beads of cold sweat appeared on her forehead. She realized she had completely misjudged Yi Xian. She had thought Yi Xian was just close to Lei Bin and that Huang Jejia would easily handle Lei Bin. But now, neither Yi Xian nor Lei Bin gave Huang Jejia any face. Moreover, Yi Xian seemed to know the real owner of Xinhai Bank, Huang Jejia's grandfather, Huang Zongshi. Her scalp tingled with fear. A major reason she had been able to replace Lu Jia was because Huang Jejia was her backer, spending lavishly to promote her. Stop, I was wrong. After being beaten for a while, Huang Jejia couldn't take it anymore. It was too painful. Yi Xian ignored him, landing a few more punches before looking at Huang Jejia with a smile, then turning to Qin Shuer. You should just be a good little white lotus. You know exactly what happened with Lu Jia. You act innocent on the outside, but are full of malice inside. I didn't want to bother with you last time, thinking a small lesson would suffice. I didn't expect you to come looking for trouble yourself. Qin Shuer's face turned pale. Yi Xian took out his phone, found Huang Liang's number, and dialed. The call quickly connected. Yi Xian, what's up? Huang Liang asked. Send me your old man's number. I have something to discuss with him, Yi Xian said. Right away. Huang Liang quickly agreed. After hanging up, he received a message with the number. Yi Xian glanced at Huang Jejia, then dialed Huang Zongshi's number. Hello, a majestic voice answered after a moment. Who is this? It's me, Yi Xian, Yi Xian said with a smile. Old master, how's your health? Very good, very good. You haven't contacted me for 3 years. Where have you been? Huang Zongshi's voice was clearly filled with excitement. Well, old master, let's catch up later when I come to Yinjing. I'm calling to tell you something, Yi Xian said. Huang Jejia is your grandson, right? Huang Zongshi nodded. Yes, what about him? Yi Xian truthfully recounted the incident with Qin Shuer's car accident, and then detailed what had just happened. Well done. He deserves it. Huang Zongshi roared. I haven't disciplined him much. He's been spoiled by his mother. He acts like a spoiled brat all day long. Put him on the phone. I'm on speakerphone. You can just talk, Yi Xian said, turning on the speaker. In fact, Yi Xian's phone wasn't very good. The volume was quite loud when receiving calls. Huang Jejia had already heard his grandfather's voice. Now, hearing Yi Xian put him on speakerphone, he quickly said, Grandpa, save me. This Yi Xian is going to beat me to death. It would be best if he beat you to death, you little bastard. Huang Zongshi's voice boomed from the phone. Do you know who he is? He saved my life, your sister's life, and your second uncle's life. You dare to cause him trouble? Apologize to Yi Xian right now. If I hear even a hint of insincerity, I'll break your legs. Ah! Huang Jejia's face paled. He's the one who saved my sister and you? I didn't know. I don't want to hear your excuses. Wait till you get back to Yinjing. I'll deal with you. Huang Zongshi cursed. Huang Jejia's face turned green. He lay on the ground, despairing. Grandpa, I was wrong. And get rid of that actress of yours. If I find out you're still seeing her, I'll cut you off completely. Huang Zongshi added. I'll break up with her. I'll break up with her, okay? Huang Jejia was completely cowed by his grandfather. Then, Huang Zongshi said, Yi Xian, when are you coming to Yinjing? Huang Xian often talks about you. I should be coming in a while. I'll contact you then, Yi Xian said with a smile. I'll hang up now and take care of things here. He hung up the phone, released Huang Jejia, pulled up a chair, and sat down with a smile. Laban also pulled up a chair and sat down, looking at Huang Jejia with a smirk. Huang Jejia was completely subdued. Enduring the pain, he walked up to Yexin and said sincerely, Yexin, I'm sorry, really sorry. I didn't know you were the one who saved my grandfather and sister. If I had known, I wouldn't have treated you like this. Please forgive me. Then, Yexin smiled and looked at Qin Shuer. Qin Shuer trembled as she met Yexin's gaze. Beads of sweat formed on her forehead. Huang Jiejie was a spoiled rich kid, but not completely rotten to the core. He was still filial and seemed to treat his family well. He had a penchant for actresses, so he established an entertainment agency, which housed quite a few big names in the industry. Qin Shuer was one of them, and now their top star. It was no exaggeration to say that Qin Shuer's fame was entirely due to Huang Jiejie's financial backing. Now, she had offended Yexin, and Huang Jiejie, after being beaten up by Yexin, had apologized to him. Qin Shuer's scalp tingled as Yexin looked at her. He hadn't said a word, but she felt a chill run down her spine. So-called popular stars were nothing in the face of real capital, especially a hype-driven star like Qin Shuer with no real works to speak of. Noticing Yexin's expression, Huang Jiejie's face showed a hint of conflict. It seemed he was quite fond of Qin Shuer. Setting aside her personality, she was indeed a beauty. Brother Yexin? Huang Jiejie's address for Yexin had changed. He seemed to have made up his mind. Brother Yexin, how about this? I'll have our company terminate the contract with Qin Shuer, and we won't have anything to do with her anymore. I won't care which company she signs with. How does that sound? Qin Shuer's face paled slightly. Termination meant losing her biggest financial backer. Until she found another, her career would inevitably decline. With Huang Jiejie's connections, her resources had been endless. Now, if he terminated her contract, her career would be severely impacted. Fortunately, he hadn't mentioned blacklisting her or colluding with other investors to ban her. This gave her a small way out. He looked at Qin Shuer. Aren't you going to apologize to Yexin? Qin Shuer wiped the sweat from her forehead and stood up quickly. She knew that if she didn't apologize and appease Yexin, she might be completely finished. She walked up to Yexin and bowed. Yexin, I'm so sorry. Everything was my fault. Whether intentionally or not, she didn't cover her chest, revealing ample cleavage as she bowed. This woman is really scheming, Yexin thought, amused. He waved his hand dismissively. Do what you want. I have things to do, so I'll be going. Huang Jiejie breathed a sigh of relief, while Qin Shuer's face was ashen. Laban looked at Huang Jiejie, then asked Yexin, by the way, now that the movie won't be using Qin Shuer, the director contacted me yesterday asking for recommendations. Do you have any favorite actresses? Yexin paused, then casually said, You know Lu Jia, right? You can recommend her. See if there's a suitable role for her. Okay, I'll arrange it, Laban said. Qin Shuer's face turned pale when she heard their conversation. Lu Jia, because of this incident, might make a comeback while she might fall to the bottom. A sense of desolation washed over her. Brother Jiejie. She looked at Huang Jiejie coquettishly. Huang Jiejie frowned. You provoke someone you shouldn't have. You can't blame me for this. You heard the call just now. I can't protect you. You're on your own. Although he felt a tinge of reluctance, it wasn't a big deal. He had no shortage of actresses around him. There would be another after Qin Shuer. Yexin was no longer interested in how Huang Jiejie would handle things, but he was happy to see someone like Qin Shuer get what she deserved. After saying goodbye to Lei Bin, he decided to go home. Now that Zhiqiu and Ming Xiaonan were gone, and number 2 hadn't fully recovered, he needed to take care of her. In fact, there was nothing left for him to do in Linhai. The Yi family matters were almost settled. Of course, the Yi family was huge. Even though they were downsizing, complete bankruptcy was unlikely, but their decline was inevitable. After Red Lotus completely cut off their funding, the Zhou family was also heading for ruin. The Bai family, on the other hand, had taken advantage of the situation and acquired a lot of the Yi family's assets, stabilizing their position. Of course, Bai Qi was still the same Bai Qi who looked down on Yexin. Jiang Wei had told his family that he was being transferred out of town. He and Wu Yao would be joining Night Watch. Qin Xiaowei was also leaving. She had been undergoing private assessments by Night Watch, mainly focusing on resilience. Night Watch was tough, especially for women. Most people couldn't handle it. Men could at least be disciplined physically if they couldn't cope. For Yexin, everything in Linhai seemed to be returning to calm. Of course, he was unaware of the undercurrents beneath the surface. but Qin Guosheng would remain here, his team safeguarding the peace of this area. He took a taxi to his neighborhood and ordered takeout from a nearby restaurant, enough for about 10 people. There was no other way. Huang Shiqi ate a lot. Even her injuries didn't affect her appetite. When he got home, Huang Shiqi was watching TV on the sofa. The first thing she said when she saw him was, "I'm hungry again." Yi Xian sighed, placed the food on the table, and opened the containers one by one. Huang Shiqi smiled contentedly. Meanwhile, in a cozy two-bedroom apartment in Linhai, Lu Jiao was feeding her child porridge. After the 4-drip, the child's condition had improved significantly, and they had been discharged from the hospital last night. The car had been sent to the repair shop, but the hefty repair costs still weighed heavily on her mind. She knew that if it weren't for Yi Xian, things wouldn't have been resolved so easily. Sigh, she sighed as she fed her child. Ring, ring, ring. Her phone rang. She glanced at the caller ID and froze. Yao Sheng. This was a number she had saved when she was still famous. She had worked with this director on a TV series before. But after her career declined, they hadn't contacted each other. He had even deleted her on WeChat. She hadn't expected him to call her. Moreover, there had been news reports about him and Qin Shuer collaborating on a big-budget TV series. Lu Jia swallowed nervously, worry filling her heart. She suspected that Qin Shuer had deliberately recommended her to the director, just to humiliate her on set. But as long as she had a role, she would have income. She gritted her teeth and answered the phone. Director Yao. Hello. Lu Jia, right? Long time no see. Yao Sheng said with a smile. I have a role here. Are you available? If you are, come to Yanjing for an audition as soon as possible. You can join directly if you're suitable. It's the second female lead. Lu Jia's eyes widened. Second female lead. This was completely unexpected. If the drama became a hit, she could make a comeback. She tried to control her excitement. I'm available. I'm available. I'll be there tomorrow. Yi Xian was unaware of Lu Jia's excitement. Of course, Lu Jia didn't know that she got the role because of Yi Xian's casual remark. Yi Xian felt that their encounter was just a fleeting one, and they probably wouldn't cross paths again. He simply had a good impression of her and decided to help. He didn't have much to do in Linhai. He took care of Huang Shiqi, went home for dinner with his parents, and occasionally went out with Jiang Wanwan. About 10 days passed by quickly. Huang Shiqi's recovery was remarkable. After 7 or 8 days, she could move around normally. But to be safe, Yi Xian had her rest for 2 more days. 10 days later, at Linhai Airport, Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi got out of a car with their luggage. Finally, they were heading to Yanjing. As for his family, Yi Xian again used Lei Bin as an excuse, saying he was being transferred to Lei Bin's branch office in Yanjing. His parents didn't object and were even quite happy. Of course, before leaving, Yi Xian treated Jiang Wanwan, Zhou Qianqian, Chen Shi, and Bai Yao to a meal. He had also invited Bai Yao's sister, but it seemed she was under strict supervision from her family and couldn't make it. At the airport, they collected their tickets from the self-service kiosk and proceeded to the security check. Suddenly, they noticed a commotion in the crowd. Shuer is here. Holy crap, it's really Qin Shuer. Several people nearby became excited. Yi Xian followed their gaze and saw Qin Shuer at a nearby gate, taking off her sunglasses and going through security. She had a faint smile on her face and waved when she heard people calling her name, flashing a sweet smile. Is that her? Huang Shiqi asked, her expression changing slightly when she saw Qin Shuer. Yi Xian had told her about Qin Shuer. She glanced over. She's quite pretty. Two-faced, Yi Xian said, piteously pouting slightly. Forget about her. Let's hurry through security. At 11 a.m., they boarded the plane. As the plane climbed higher, Huang Shiqi looked down and frowned. I've lived here for 3 years. I'm a little reluctant to leave. Night watch members were mainly divided into 2 types, special ops teams and garrison teams. Garrison teams, like Qin Guosheng's, were stationed in a city for extended periods. Special ops teams were the main force for larger missions. As the former strongest team in Night Watch, Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi often traveled around the world, rarely staying in one city for more than a month. Speaking of which, I miss Jiangxing too, Yi Xian muttered. Huang Shiqi teased. You miss your ex-wife, don't you? Don't talk nonsense, Yi Xian said helplessly. Huang Shiqi smiled. It doesn't matter. After we get our revenge, We'll return to night watch in our busy lives. But taking down the Dempsey family won't be easy. Don't worry, I'm here, Yi Xian said with a smile. Huang Shiqi nodded. Yes, you're here. Stay still. Let me sleep for a while. She leaned her head on Yi Xian's shoulder and closed her eyes. Yanjing wasn't far from Linhai. It was only a few hours by high-speed rail and just over an hour by plane. Around 12:30 p.m., Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi arrived at Yanjing International Airport. Zhe Qiyu had already sent them the address of their accommodation. It was a Western-style house in a residential complex. Although neither Zhe Qiyu nor Yi Xian lacked money, they didn't live extravagantly. They got off the plane, collected their luggage, and walked down the corridor. After a few steps, they sensed something was wrong. 2 rows of security guards suddenly surrounded them, shouting, "Make way! Make way!" Pedestrians were quickly ushered to the sides. A large crowd gathered nearby. Yi Xian frowned and turned around. He saw Qin Shuer, wearing sunglasses and a cold expression, walking towards the airport exit between the 2 rows of security guards. Many people recognized her and took out their phones to take pictures. She was on the same flight as us? Huang Shiqi frowned. Make way. Can't you understand? One of the people clearing the path for Qin Shuer shouted. Huang Shiqi raised an eyebrow. Do you own this airport? The person was taken aback, but Yi Xian sensed something was wrong and quickly pulled Huang Shiqi aside. Why are you pulling me? I just can't stand this White Lotus. She makes me so angry. Just look at her, Huang Shiqi said, annoyed. Yi Xian said helplessly. She's been trending almost every day since her contract termination. If we argue with her at the airport and get photographed, it won't be good. As Night Watch members, they had to keep a low profile whenever possible. As for settling scores, that was done in private. Huang Shiqi snorted and fell silent. After Qin Shuer left, Yi Xian touched his nose, a sneer appearing on his lips as he watched her go. They took a taxi straight to Zhe Qiyu's place. Zhe Qiyu's apartment was near the 5th Ring Road in Yanjing. Although it wasn't a villa, it wasn't cheap either. After arriving, Huang Shiqi moved into a room, while Yi Xian was stuck sleeping on the sofa. The apartment had 5 rooms, but one was a study with no bed, and another had been converted by Zhe Qiyu into an infirmary and operating room. There were only 3 bedrooms. Yi Xian didn't mind. After putting down their luggage, Zhe Qiyu gave Huang Shiqi a full checkup. After confirming she was fine, she turned to Yi Xian. The company you'll be working for is called Jida Group. Bring your ID tomorrow and go there. When you arrive, call this number. He's also retired from Night Watch. He was from Team 77162. He's retired from the front lines and now helps manage Night Watch's businesses. Retired Night Watch members who had their own businesses usually managed them themselves. Of course, many didn't have their own businesses, and those people would join the businesses of other Night Watch members as management. Yi Xian nodded. What's his name? Peng Handong, Zhe Qiyu said. Yi Xian scratched his head. He hadn't heard that name before. But since he was a shareholder of Jida Group, Peng Handong should know him. He just needed a call when he got there. Zhe Qiyu continued. These are your onboarding documents. Bring them with you. Yi Xian nodded. What about the specific missions? Zhe Qiyu replied. 2 main missions. One is still ensuring Wang Jieqi's safety. Although she's in Yanjing, the opponents this time are not ordinary. The other mission is to eliminate Lin Xiaohua. Who's Lin Xiaohua? Yi Xian asked. The one who injured number 2. He's also the leader of Shadow, Zhe Qiyu said. Yi Xian's eyes narrowed slightly. Understood. He glanced at Huang Shiqi, who shrugged. No need to assign me any missions. I haven't officially returned to Night Watch yet, and they don't know I'm here. I'll continue assassinating Red Lotus and Dempsey family members for now. Zhe Qiyu could only smile wryly and nod. All right, Xiaonan, and I still have to cooperate with the Yanjing Night Watch on night duty. Yi Xian's expression shifted slightly. Who's in charge in Yanjing? Zhe Qiyu looked at Yi Xian. Number 4. Former number 3. Fu Yu. Hearing the name, both Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi frowned deeply. Fu Yu was much older than Yi Xian and the others. He was a veteran of Night Watch. He wasn't problematic in terms of his stance, but he liked to flaunt his seniority and lecture newcomers. In short, he was a condescending old-timer. Once, a member of Yi Xian's team made a minor mistake and was severely reprimanded by Fu Yu. Naturally, Yi Xian was unhappy and fought him. Fu Yu was soundly beaten by Yi Xian. And after that, he was beaten up again by Huang Shiqi. At that time, Fu Yu was only around number 10 in Night Watch. After being consecutively beaten by Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi, he was pushed out of the top 10. After that, Yi Xian's team and his team were always at odds, with frequent friction. But most of the time, it was Fu Yu's team that got beaten up. There was one benefit, though. Under the constant pressure from Yi Xian's increasingly powerful team, they also improved. Especially Fu Yu. He was older and hadn't had a breakthrough for many years, but under pressure from Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi, he actually fought his way back into the top 10. And later, he climbed all the way to number 3. With the mysterious number 1 rarely appearing, he was practically the third strongest fighter in Night Watch. Logically, with Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi not officially on the roster, he should have taken over as 0. But no, 3 years later, he had fallen to number 4, meaning 3 people had surpassed him. As expected, without the pressure from us, his progress has been too slow, Yi Xian sighed. Huang Shiqi nodded in agreement. But it's definitely a problem. If he's in charge of night duty here, he won't cooperate with us like Qin Guoxing did, Huang Shiqi said. Yi Xian nodded. That was precisely why he was frowning. Ming Xiaonan smiled. That's what you get for always bullying him. Sometimes I felt sorry for Uncle Fu. Forget it, we'll see. If he doesn't cooperate, I'll just beat him up again, Yi Xian said. Huang Shiqi nodded. Poor Uncle Fu, Ming Xiaonan said, shaking her head and smiling. All right, Xiaonan and I need to rest. You two do whatever you want this afternoon, Zhichuyu said. They had night duty and needed to ensure they got enough sleep. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi nodded. They spent the afternoon exploring the neighborhood, familiarizing themselves with the surroundings. After dinner, they went to bed. The next day, Yi Xian woke up at 9 a.m., took his documents, and leisurely headed to Jida Group. He had done some research last night. The company was listed, but its scale was nowhere near Hanyu Group. Still, it had a market value of around 3 billion, which wasn't small. Downstairs, Yi Xian showed his documents to the security guard and entered the building. In the lobby, he called Peng Handong. About 2 minutes later, Peng Handong rushed down, his face lighting up when he saw Yi Xian. 0, he whispered. Peng Handong was tall, almost 1.9 meters, but since he no longer needed to carry out missions, he had let himself go and gained some weight. Yi Xian chuckled and touched his nose. Arrange a position for me. Peng Handong nodded and took him to the HR department. After the onboarding procedures were completed, Peng Handong said, the sales department is on the 5th floor. I'll take you there to meet the staff. Yi Xian shook his head. It's okay. You go ahead with your work. I'll go by myself. Do they know I'm joining? Yes, I've told them, but I didn't reveal your identity. You're joining as an ordinary employee, Peng Handong said. Yi Xian nodded. Okay, I'll go up myself then. All right, when you get to the sales department, just look for Wang Yi. He'll arrange your tasks. Peng Handong paused, then added, by the way, you have shares in several large companies in Yanjing. I'll compile a list with Night Watch and send it to you. If you need anything in Yanjing, you can contact them directly. Yi Xian nodded. He wasn't surprised. Yanjing had many reclusive families and active underground figures. During his 6 years in Night Watch, he had frequented this city. In a sense, this was his true home turf. After bidding farewell to Peng Handong, Yi Xian checked the time. It was around 10:00 a.m. He took the elevator to the 5th floor. As he stepped out, he heard voices coming from the stairwell next to the elevator. Xiaoya, can't you see my feelings for you? A man's voice said. Yi Xian glanced over and saw a slightly sleazy-looking middle-aged man talking in the stairwell. Opposite him stood a tall, beautiful woman, the Xiaoya he was addressing. Xiaoya looked conflicted. Manager Wang, I really don't want to date right now. I just graduated and want to focus on my work. Manager Wang? Was this guy Wang Yi, his direct supervisor? Yi Xian watched with amusement. Wang Yi looked at Xiaoya and said earnestly, Xiaoya, in this society, it's actually very easy to get ahead. Think about it. I'm the manager of the sales department, and my uncle is a senior executive in the company. If you're with me, you'll quickly be promoted to team leader. And with my uncle around, your future in the company will be bright. I still want to rely on my own abilities to climb the ladder, Xiaoya said, blushing slightly. Wang Yi seemed oblivious to her polite refusal. He chuckled. You still don't understand. A company like Jida is not easy to get into. It's also quite difficult to climb the ranks. It would be very easy for me to fire you. Manager Wang Yu. Xiaoya's face changed slightly. How about this? I'm not in a hurry. Let's watch a movie after work today and talk more, okay? Wang Yi asked. Xiaoya shook her head. Manager Wang, I have things to do at home after work. Seeing her repeated rejections, Wang Yi seemed to grow impatient, a flash of anger crossing his face. He reached out and grabbed Xiaoya's hand. Oh, resorting to force after being rejected at the company? Yi Xian said with a smile. Both Xiaoya and Wang Yi turned to look at Yi Xian. Xiaoya's face flushed crimson at being discovered. Wang Yi's expression also soured. He glared at Yi Xian. Who are you? What's it to you? Oh, HR told me to come find you. I'm a new employee, Yi Xian said. Wang Yi, feeling his plans had been thwarted, glared at Yi Xian. You don't have to come anymore. Late on your first day of work? I don't need employees like you. Really? You said it yourself? Yi Xian shrugged and tossed his ID card to Wang Yi. Then I'll take my leave. In truth, he didn't really want this job. If Shichuyu hadn't insisted he have a legitimate identity, he wouldn't have bothered coming. Wang Yi hadn't expected Yi Xian to refuse so readily. The woman named Xiaoya also stared at Yi Xian in disbelief. This was Jida Group, a company countless people were desperate to join, and yet Yi Xian was simply quitting. Ring, ring, ring. Wang Yi's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID and his eyelids twitched. He quickly answered. Hello, President Peng. Wang Yi, Peng Handong's voice boomed from the phone. Has Yi Xian reported to the sales department yet? Arrange a relatively easy job for him. Don't bother him about being late or leaving early. Wang Yi was stunned. A new employee, Yi Xian? He quickly picked up the ID card Yi Xian had tossed him. The moment he saw the name, Yi Xian, his scalp went numb. He just told me he quit, Wang Yi stammered. What? Peng Handong roared. Did you give him a hard time? Wang Yi gulped. Let me tell you, if you don't bring him back, you and your uncle can both get the hell out of the company. Peng Handong yelled into the phone. Wang Yi's head throbbed, a cold sweat breaking out on his forehead. This new employee. What's his deal? The CEO called personally. Forgetting the woman, Xiaoya, he'd been talking to, he rushed from the stairwell. Spotting Yi Xian waiting for the elevator, he hurried over. Yi Xian, wait. I didn't mean it like that. Yi Xian turned. Didn't you just tell me to get lost? I'm leaving. What's your problem? You misunderstood. I meant you could come in earlier next time, Wang Yi stammered. Yi Xian touched his nose. Look, I messed up showing up late on my first day. I'm not cut out for this. I'm so embarrassed. I should just quit. Wang Yi's face turned green. No, it's okay. Everyone's late sometimes. Just be more careful next time. Yi Xian shrugged. Nah, I'm good. Xiaoya emerged from the stairwell, stifling a laugh at the scene. She shot a curious glance at Yi Xian before hurrying back to the office. Seeing Yi Xian's determination to leave, Wang Yi felt another wave of panic. He didn't know Yi Xian's background, but he clearly wasn't like the other employees. He didn't seem to care about the job at all. If Yi Xian left, both Wang Yi and his uncle would be fired. He couldn't lose this job. He grabbed Yi Xian's arm, pleading, I'm so sorry. I was wrong. Please don't hold it against me. Yi Xian grinned, amused by the man's desperation. Fine. Just give me my ID badge. He knew if he actually left, Shichuyu would just send him back or create a new identity for him. Since he was here on a mission, he needed a cover. Relieved, Wang Yi said, Okay then, let me get you settled in. No need for introductions. Just assign me somewhere, Yi Xian said. Right. Wang Yi agreed, leading him to the sales department. This is sales team 2. Ho Baoquan, this is the new guy for your team. A man of about 24 or 25 approached. Manager, this is Yi Xian. Find him a desk. Then come to my office, Wang Yi instructed. Ho Baoquan nodded. Come with me. To Yi Xian's surprise, the desk was next to Xiaoya. She stuck her tongue out at him. Thanks for earlier. Yi Xian shrugged it off. The sales team had 9 members, 6 of whom were women. There were no formal introductions. Yi Xian was just here for cover. He didn't expect much interaction. Soon, Ho Baoquan returned, giving Yi Xian an odd look before addressing Xiaoya. Xiaoya, the manager wants you in his office. A look of distress crossed Xiaoya's pretty face, but she went. When she returned about 7 or 8 minutes later, she looked troubled. What's wrong? Another girl asked. Did he harass you again? Xiaoya sighed. He said he's firing me for poor performance. I'm still on probation, and I haven't met this month's quota. Wang Yi is such a jerk, another girl whispered. Is it definite? Not yet. He wants me to collect the outstanding payment from Qinghua Bar, Xiaoya said, biting her lip. If I don't, I'm fired. Ho Baoquan's face changed. That 8 million from Qinghua Bar is a dead end. They're offering a 15% commission, but no one will touch it. He's trying to force you out. Just be his girlfriend, another girl suggested. What can you do? His uncle's a senior executive. 8 million, 15%. That's over $1 million in commission. And no one will take it. Yi Xine thought, curious. No one wants to collect easy money. You're new, so you don't know, Ho Baoquan explained. The owner of Qinghua Bar is also the owner of the biggest club in Yanjing. He's powerful and mysterious. Plus, bars are usually connected to both the underworld and the authorities. A few people tried to collect the debt and ended up in the hospital. He sighed. It's a lost cause. Wang Yi's just trying to get rid of her. Yi Xine's eyes flickered. Mysterious background? Could Mo Fei be connected to Red Lotus, Shadow, or some other underground organization? He looked at Xiaoya. Debt should be paid. It's ridiculous no one will do it. Xiaoya, right? I'll go with you, but you have to split the commission with me. Xiaoya stared at him, dumbfounded. Ho Baoquan frowned. Yi Xine, forget it. Don't get involved. Xiaoya, just find another job. You're too qualified for sales. Find an office job. It'll be easy with your degree. Xiaoya bit her lip. We'll go together, she said, determined not to lose her job. Are you crazy? The other girl exclaimed. That's Qinghua Bar. Xiaoya's eyes reddened. I have to try. I really need the money. Ho Baoquan sighed. I can't stop you. It would be great for our team. But seriously, that money is uncollectible. Don't risk your lives for it. Yi Xine waved him off. Xiaoya, shall we go now? She nodded. Yes. She quickly gathered her things and stood up. As they left, Ho Baoquan sneered. Thinks he's so great because he has connections showing off in front of a pretty girl. Let's see how he collects that money. What connections? Someone asked. Yi Xine must be someone a senior executive brought in, Ho Baoquan said. Wang Yi told me not to give him any tasks. He's probably just here to play around. Another Wang Yi. The others were taken aback. The girl who had spoken earlier shook her head. Well, we warned them. Can't blame us if they're stupid enough to go. Yi Xine and Xiaoya left the company and headed to the Qinghua Bar. On the way, Yi Xine learned Xiaoya's full name, Linya, a recent college graduate. It was clear Linya lacked real-world experience. After just a brief chat with Yi Xine, she had practically revealed her entire life story. She graduated from Yanjing University, a top university in the country. After graduation, she had an offer from a large state-owned enterprise. However, her mother was diagnosed with a tumor requiring a large sum of money for medical treatment. She came from an ordinary family. Working at a state-owned enterprise offered stability, but the starting salary wouldn't be high. So, she decided to pursue a sales career to earn more money quickly, which led her to Jida. The base salary and commission here were quite good. However, she had only been working for a month and wasn't yet familiar with the business. Soon, they arrived at the bar. The doors were closed, as bars usually opened in the evening. What do we do? Lin Ya's pretty face was etched with worry. Yi Xine checked the time and looked around. They should be here in the afternoon. Let's find a place nearby to have lunch. Lin Ya nodded. It was almost noon. They found a place to eat, and around 1 p.m., they headed back to the Qinghua Bar. The bar was open now, but there were few people inside. As they reached the entrance, Lin Ya said with a worried look, Yi Xine, are we really going to be able to collect this debt? I heard from colleagues that people who come to collect debts often run into trouble. Yi Xine touched his nose. Don't worry. You brought all the documents, right? Yes, Lin Ya nodded. They owe us money. We're in the right. Don't be afraid. Just watch me, Yi Xine said, walking in. Lin Ya quickly followed. The bar's windows were open, and the inside was relatively bright. Several people in server uniforms were cleaning and polishing glasses. Seeing Yi Xine and Lin Ya, one of them looked up and said, Yo, you're early. The bar isn't open yet. Come back tonight. Yi Xine touched his nose. We're from Jida Group. Is your manager here? We have something to discuss with him. Manager Nyo, someone's looking for you, the server shouted. Yi Xine glanced in the direction of the shout and saw a group of people sitting together, men and women. The women were dressed scantily, and the men were mostly young, each with an arm around a girl, chatting and laughing. A young man in a shirt walked over. He looked at Yi Xian and Linya with a puzzled expression. "You're looking for me?" Yi Xian nodded and took Linya's document folder. "We're from Jida Group. Your borrows our company 8 million. It's long overdue, and we're here to collect." "Jida?" Manager Nyo glanced at Yi Xian. "Go back and tell your boss I don't have the money. I'll send it over when I do." He turned and walked back towards the group, ignoring Yi Xian. "Nyo Jifeng, what are you doing? Why are you running away from drinks? Come back here," someone shouted. Yi Xian froze. The voice was incredibly familiar. He looked closely at the group and saw Huang Jiejia, cigarette dangling from his lips, an arm around each of two scantily clad girls, yelling in his direction. "Damn, this guy's into everything," Yi Xian thought, exasperated. "I thought he only played with high-class stuff like actresses, but he's into both high and low-end." "Young Master Huang, I'll be right there," Neo Jifeng said. He ignored Yi Xian and turned to go. Yi Xian quickly darted forward, blocking Neo Jifeng's path. "You don't have no money, you just don't want to pay. Our boss said if I don't collect this debt, he'll fire me and my colleague. Just settle the debt with us." Neo Jifeng's eyelids twitched as Yi Xian blocked his way. "Kid, are you deaf? I said I don't have the money. Get lost." "I can't move until you give me the money," Yi Xian said. Neo Jifeng's eyes turned cold. He looked at Linya, his eyes glinting. "I might be willing to pay. If this little chick has a drink with me and spends the night, then maybe we can talk." Linya's face changed drastically. She hadn't expected Neo Jifeng to be so blunt. "That's not going to happen," Yi Xian said with a smile. "Debts must be repaid. You have to pay this money today." Neo Jifeng was enraged. He glared at Yi Xian, a sinister smile flashing across his face. "Kid, do you know what happened to the people your company sent to collect debts before? Do you also want to spend some time in the hospital?" He waved his hand. Several servers surrounded them. Linya's face paled as she saw them approach. She ran to Yi Xian and clutched his clothes. "Kid, for this beauty's sake, and because I have important guests today, I'll give you one last chance. Get out," Neo Jifeng said coldly. "I'm not leaving without the money," Yi Xian replied. A vicious look flashed across Neo Jifeng's face. He shouted to the others, "Drag him to the back and beat him up. Keep the girl for me. I'll be there later." He looked at Linya, his eyes raking over her body, and licked his lips. "What are you doing?" Huang Jiejia's voice suddenly rang out beside him. "Come and drink. Are you trying to avoid me?" "Just taking care of some small business." Neo Jifeng quickly turned to Huang Jiejia. As he turned, he moved out of the way, and Huang Jiejia saw Yi Xian and Linya standing together. His eyelids twitched violently. He looked at Yi Xian. "Brother Xian, why are you in Yinjing?" Neo Jifeng was stunned. He looked at Yi Xian, then at Huang Jiejia, and asked subconsciously, "Young Master Huang, you know him?" Huang Jiejia's face darkened. He glanced at Neo Jifeng. "I just heard you say you wanted to drag him to the back and beat him up?" Neo Jifeng's eyes widened. Before he could react, Huang Jiejia slapped him across the face. "Damn you, you dare touch my brother Xian? Do you still want to live in Yinjing?" From his practiced movements, it was clear he did this often. This guy was a true spoiled brat. Neo Jifeng was dumbfounded. Who was Huang Jiejia? He couldn't understand why an employee about to be fired from Jida would know him. He didn't dare to retaliate after being slapped. Huang Jiejia snorted. "Hurry up and apologize to brother Xian." Yi Xian waved his hand. "No need for apologies. I'm working at Jida Group now, and Qinghua Bar owes our company 8 million. It's long overdue, and I'm here to collect." Huang Jiejia was stunned, surprised that Yi Xian was working. But he didn't ask further. He turned to Neo Jifeng and snapped. "Are you deaf? Pay up." Neo Jifeng stared blankly, looking at Huang Jiejia, then at Yi Xian. "Then, I'll call our boss." "No need, I'll call," Huang Jiejia said, taking out his phone. Half an hour later, Yi Xian received a check, which he pocketed with satisfaction. "I'll be going then," he said to Huang Jiejia, patting the stunned Linya on the shoulder. Linya's mind was a whirl. The bad debt that had been giving the company such a headache had been collected by Yi Xian so easily. She didn't know who Huang Jiejia was, but he seemed like some kind of big shot, and he was clearly afraid of Yi Xian. She followed Yi Xian outside. Huang Jiejia hurried after them and coughed. Brother Xine, you came to Yinjing and didn't even tell me so I could pick you up. Yi Xine looked at him with a smirk. Sure, and you're here picking up girls in a bar in broad daylight. Huang Jiejie looked embarrassed. Please don't tell my sister or my grandfather, or they'll really break my legs. They don't allow me to come to bars. Don't worry, I won't tell. I'm going back to work, Yi Xine said. Work? Huang Jiejie looked at Yi Xine. With our friendship, just tell me if you need money. What's your bank account number? I'll transfer 10 million to you first. Spend it as you like, and call me if it's not enough. Linya. Huang Jiejie said 10 million, as casually as if it were pocket change. She was speechless. No need. Keep it for yourself. Yi Xine waved his hand. Huang Jiejie looked awkward. Brother Xine, how about you come home with me to see my grandfather? After the Qin Shuer incident in Linhai, I came back to Yinjing, but I haven't dared to go home. My sister said my grandfather will definitely beat me up, so I've been wandering around outside. Could you come with me and put in a good word for me? Yi Xine touched his nose. He had been thinking about visiting old Master Huang since he arrived in Yinjing. He nodded. All right. He turned to the stunned Linya. Xiaoya, you take the check back to the company. I'm going to meet a friend, and we'll be back later. Linya snapped back to reality and nodded quickly. Oh, okay. Huang Jiejie beamed. Brother Xine, this way. My car is parked over here. Linya watched Yi Xine and Huang Jiejie walk away, a strange look in her eyes as she stared at Yi Xine's back. Xiaoya stared at the check in her hand, then at Yi Xine's receding figure, disbelief washing over her. The debt that had plagued the entire company had been settled so easily by Yi Xine. She was stunned. This was practically her first successful deal since joining Jida, and it was a huge one. The commission was a whopping one, 2 million. Even after splitting it with Yi Xine, she'd still get 600,000. Her family's financial troubles would be solved. Remembering Wang Yi groveling before Yi Xine and the bar owner's respectful demeanor, she couldn't help but wonder about his true identity. Hailing a taxi, she headed back to the office. Half an hour later, check in hand, she returned to sales team 2. Where's Yi Xine? One of the girls asked, surprised to see her alone. Ho Baoquan sneered. Probably in the hospital. Told him not to go, but he had to show off. Xiaoya shook her head. He had something else to take care of. I collected the money. Here's the check. All eyes turned to her. What? You got it? Ho Baoquan asked, stunned. He'd just been mocking Yi Xine. Xiaoya nodded. Well, mostly Yi Xine. I barely said a word. You collected the money. Ho Baoquan repeated, still in shock. Yes. Here's the check. Ho Baoquan took it, his jaw dropping as he sank into his chair. Silence fell over sales team 2. Meanwhile, oblivious to the commotion he'd caused, Yi Xine picked up Huang Shiqi and drove to old Mr. Huang's house. The house was a sprawling courtyard, worth several hundred million in Yinjing's pricey real estate market. Huang Jiejie had called ahead, and the old man, overjoyed, had dismissed all the staff except for 2 cooks. When Yi Xine arrived, old Mr. Huang was waiting with his cane, accompanied by a woman in her late 20s, his granddaughter, Huang Xine, Huang Jiejie's older sister. As they approached, the old man rushed forward, not to greet them, but to point his cane at Huang Jiejie. You ungrateful brat! You dare show your face here? And disrespecting Yi Xine? I'll break your legs! Huang Jiejie's face paled. Says help! Huang Xine glared at him. You deserve it! Xine Ji! Huang Jiejie scrambled behind Yi Xine. Mr. Huang, it's okay, Yi Xine said quickly. He didn't know. After you explained, he was very polite. He's spoiled rotten by his parents, always out drinking and causing trouble. Old Mr. Huang fumed. And reeking of alcohol at midday. I'll not only break your legs, but cut off your funds too. Huang Jiejie's face went even whiter. Mr. Huang, Yi Xine interrupted. He just helped me out. I'm working at Jidan now, and I had to collect a debt. I couldn't have done it without him. Old Mr. Huang glared at Huang Jiejie. For Yi Xine's sake, I'll let you off this time. Now get inside. We have business to discuss. Yes, sir. Huang Jiejie scurried into the house. That boy. Old Mr. Huang muttered. Yi Xine shrugged it off. Huang Jiejie wasn't a bad person at heart. He at least had filial piety. Let's go inside, old Mr. Huang said. It's been 3 years since you visited. Things came up, Yi Xine explained as they walked. Shichi and I had some trouble. It's night watch business. I can't really explain. Old mister. Huangdan Prai. Why are you working at Jida? If you need a cover, come to Xinhai Bank. I'll make a call. You won't even have to clock in. Yi Exen shook his head. Dr. Je made the arrangements. It's more than just a cover. I think it's to give me access to people or things related to the mission. He suspected Jichuyu had a specific reason. I see. Old mister, Huang said, leading them to a sitting area. By the way, Dr. Je mentioned you were married? Huang Xian looked at Yi Xian with interest. Did she tell you that too? Yi Xian sighed. She was in Yinjing last month on a mission and stopped by for my checkup. Old mister, Huang said. She just mentioned it. Said your mother-in-law gave you a hard time. I lost my memory for 3 years. The marriage was an accident. We're divorced now, Yi Xian explained. Both old mister, Huang and Huang Xian's eyes brightened. Good, good, the old man exclaimed. Huang Xian has been waiting for you. Why don't you two get married? Huang Xian blushed, but remained silent. She sat beside her grandfather, quiet and composed. Yi Xian scratched his head. Mr. Huang, don't joke about that. It's awkward. I'm serious. I like you, and I want you to marry my granddaughter. What's awkward about it? He insisted, thumping his cane. He then turned to Huang Shichi. Shichi, how about you and Jia? Yi Xian nearly choked on his tea. Grandpa, stop it, Huang Xian said. You'll scare them away. Fine, fine, old mister. Huang chuckled, and they began chatting. Yi Xian noticed the old man seemed unwell, coughing every few sentences. Suddenly, footsteps sounded outside. The conversation stopped. A young man in a suit, carrying a medical bag, entered. He paused, surprised to see Huang Shichi and Yi Xian. This is Dr. Su, my grandfather's physical therapist, Huang Xian introduced. This is Yi Xian and Huang Shichi, my friends. Hello, Dr. Su said curtly. Let's begin today's therapy. He seemed reserved. He set his bag down in front of old Mr. Huang. Old Mr. Huang frowned at the doctor, then turned back to Yi Xian. I mean it about Huang Xian. She likes you, and I like you. Think about it. Dr. Su glanced at Huang Xian, then at Yi Xian, a flicker of coldness in his eyes. He masked it, however, helping old Mr. Huang onto a nearby couch and beginning a massage. Huang Xian gave a wry smile. Don't mind my grandfather. Dr. Su has been pursuing me, but Grandpa doesn't like him. He's just trying to provoke him. But Dr. Su is a skilled physician, quite renowned in Yinjing. Yi Xian and Huang Shichi exchanged surprised glances. After a moment, Yi Xian frowned. Huang Xian, when did your grandfather start coughing? About 2 weeks ago, she replied. Dr. Je examined him last time and recommended physical therapy. So we found Dr. Su. Why? After each session, Grandpa gets better for a while, but then the coughing returns. Yi Xian's eyes narrowed. He stood and walked over to Dr. Su, gripping his shoulder. Fuyu was much older than Yi Xian and the others. A veteran of Night Watch, he was loyal but also fond of flaunting his seniority and lecturing newcomers. He was, simply put, a condescending old-timer. He had once severely reprimanded a member of Yi Xian's team for a minor mistake. Naturally, Yi Xian was unhappy and fought him. Fuyu was soundly beaten by Yi Xian. And then, he was beaten up again by Huang Shichi. At that time, Fuyu was around number 10 in Night Watch. After being beaten by Yi Xian and Huang Shichi, he was knocked out of the top 10. After that, there was constant friction between Yi Xian's team and Fuyu's, but most of the time, Fuyu's team ended up on the losing side. However, there was a silver lining. Under the pressure of Yi Xian's ever-increasing strength, Fuyu's team was also forced to improve. Especially Fuyu. He was older and hadn't achieved a breakthrough for many years, but under pressure from Yi Xian and Huang Shichi, he actually fought his way back into the top 10. And later, he even climbed to number 3. With the mysterious number 1 rarely appearing, he was practically the third strongest in Night Watch. Logically, with Yi Xian and Huang Shichi off the official roster, he should have taken over as 0. But no, 3 years later, he had fallen to number 4, meaning 3 people had surpassed him. As expected, without pressure from us, his progress has been too slow, Yi Xian sighed. Huang Shichi nodded in agreement. But it's definitely a problem. If he's in charge of night duty, He won't cooperate with us like Qin Guoxing did, Huang Shiqi said. Yi Xi nodded. That was his concern as well. Ming Xiaonin smiled. Serves him right for always bullying people. Sometimes I felt sorry for Uncle Fu. We'll see. If he doesn't cooperate, I'll just beat him up again, Yi Xian said. Huang Shiqi nodded. Poor Uncle Fu, Ming Xiaonin said, shaking her head and smiling. All right, Xiaonin, and I need to rest. You two can do whatever you want this afternoon, Zhichuyu said. They had night duty and needed to ensure they got enough sleep. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi nodded. They explored the neighborhood, getting familiar with the area. After dinner, they went to bed. The next day, Yi Xian woke up at 9 a.m., grabbed his documents, and leisurely made his way to Jida Group. He had done some research. The company was listed, but nowhere near the scale of Hanyu Group. Still, with a market value of around 3 billion, it wasn't small. At the building, Yi Xian showed his documents to the security guard and entered. In the lobby, he called Peng Handong. 2 minutes later, Peng Handong rushed down, looking excited when he saw Yi Xian. 0, he whispered. Peng Handong was tall, almost 1.9 meters, but since he was no longer on active duty, he had gained some weight. Yi Xian chuckled. Just arrange a position for me. Peng Handong nodded and led him to HR. After the paperwork was done, Peng Handong said, the sales department is on the 5th floor. I'll introduce you to the team. Yi Xian shook his head. It's okay. Go ahead with your work. I'll go myself. Do they know I'm coming? Yes, I've told them, but not about your real identity. Just as an ordinary employee, Peng Handong said. Okay, I'll go up myself then, Yi Xian said. All right, just find Wang Yi in the sales department. He'll arrange your tasks. Peng Handong paused. By the way, you have shares in several large companies in Yanjing. I'll compile a list with Night Watch and send it to you. If you need anything, contact them directly. Yi Xian nodded. He wasn't surprised. Yanjing had many influential families and active underground figures. During his 6 years with Night Watch, he often came here. This was, in a way, his home turf. After leaving Peng Handong, Yi Xian checked the time. It was around 10:00 a.m. He took the elevator to the 5th floor. As he stepped out, he heard voices from the stairwell. Xiaoya, can you see my feelings for you? A man's voice said. Yi Xian glanced over and saw a sleazy-looking middle-aged man talking to a tall, beautiful woman, Xiaoya. Xiaoya looked uncomfortable. Manager Wang, I'm not interested in dating right now. I just graduated and want to focus on my work. Manager Wang? Was this Wang Yi, his supposed boss? Intrigued, Yi Xian watched. Wang Yi continued, Xiaoya, it's easy to get ahead. I'm the sales manager, and my uncle is a senior executive. Be with me, and you'll be promoted to team leader in no time. With my uncle, your future here is bright. I want to advance through my own efforts, Xiaoya said, blushing. Oblivious to her rejection, Wang Yi chuckled. You don't understand. It's hard to get ahead in a company like Jida. I could easily fire you. Manager Wang Yi, Xiaoya's face paled. Let's watch a movie after work and talk more, okay? Wang Yi asked. Xiaoya shook her head. Manager Wang, I have things to do after work. Growing impatient, Wang Yi grabbed her hand. Oh, resorting to force after being rejected? Yi Xian said with a smile. Both Xiaoya and Wang Yi turned to look at him. Xiaoya blushed. Wang Yi glared. Who are you? Mind your own business. Oh, HR sent me. I'm the new employee, Yi Xian said. Annoyed, Wang Yi said, You're fired. I don't need employees who are late on their first day. Really? You said it. Then I'll be going. He didn't really want this job anyway. Yi Xian shrugged, tossing his ID card to Wang Yi. You said it. Wang Yi was taken aback by Yi Xian's nonchalance. Xiaoya stared at him too. This was Jida Group. People would kill for this job, and he was quitting just like that? Ring, ring, ring. Wang Yi's phone rang. He saw the caller ID and his eyelids twitched. He quickly answered, Hello, President Peng. Wang Yi, Peng Handong's voice boomed. Has Yi Xian reported to sales yet? Give him an easy job and don't bother him about his hours. Wang Yi was confused. Yi Xian? He checked the ID card. His blood ran cold. He just quit, Wang Yi stammered. What? Peng Handong roared. Did you give him a hard time? Wang Yi gulped. Get him back, or you and your uncle are fired, Peng Handong yelled. Yi Xian looked at him surprised. Really? I'd like to see that. It'll blow your mind, Huang Jiejie said excitedly. It's not a place just anyone can get into. He coughed. Of course, it's no problem for people like you and Shichijie. Yi Xian chuckled. This guy's sycophantic attitude was a far cry from his earlier arrogance. It was amusing how someone from such a privileged background could develop such a personality. It's called an underground casino, but it's more like an underworld, Huang Jiejie continued, warming to his topic. It's a whole world down there. Bars, KTVs, gambling auctions, you name it. Yi Xian already knew this. The place had originally been a massive air raid shelter from the war. Years ago, someone had bought the land, expanded the shelter, and transformed it into a casino, initially catering to the wealthy. As more affluent patrons frequented the place, they started bringing in their own food and entertainment, leading to the development of various businesses, including a black market for antiques and artifacts. It had gradually become a sizable underground world. But the best part, Huang Jiejie said, his eyes gleaming, is the underground fighting ring. Way more exciting than UFC. He glanced at Huang Shiqi. But it's a bit too bloody for you, Shichijie. Maybe not your thing. He clearly didn't know about her night watch activities. If he knew she was a ruthless warrior on the battlefield, he'd probably run for his life. You go there every day? Yi Xian asked. Nah, just occasionally with my friends. He continued. I'll introduce you to them. Once you know them, you can walk tall anywhere in Yinjing. Just drop our names. Who are they? Yi Xian asked, intrigued. Besides me, there's Wang Hanlin from the Wang family, Guo Weixing from Fengyan Group, and Sun Liang from the Sun family, Huang Jiejie said proudly. We've been friends since kindergarten. We call ourselves the Four Princes of Yinjing. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi exchanged a look. More like the four spoiled brats of Yinjing, Yi Xian thought. You mean the four spoiled brats, Yi Xian corrected. Well, Huang Jiejie said, as he drove, I guess you could say that. But we're not that bad. We party and spend money, but we don't force anyone. Besides, what else are we supposed to do? We're rich and incompetent. Good point, Huang Shiqi said dryly. Anyway, I'll introduce you. If you run into trouble, just mention our names. It'll work wonders, Huang Jiejie said cheerfully. No thanks. Just get us in. We'll look around ourselves, Yi Xian replied. A flicker of relief crossed Huang Jiejie's face. He clearly wasn't keen on hanging out with them. After about an hour, they arrived at an old building in the suburbs. Yi Xian was astonished by the rows of luxury cars parked outside. The casino must be doing incredible business. Two men at the entrance, who clearly recognized Huang Jiejie, greeted him enthusiastically. Huang Daxiao, it's been a while. Almost half a month. I was in Linhai. Are Hanlin and the others here? Huang Daxiao arrived a while ago. He's in room 9 in the bar area, one of the men replied. Yi Xian was somewhat familiar with the place, having been there a few times on missions. The men at the entrance didn't question Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi. Huang Jiejie's presence was enough. They entered the building, followed a passage, and descended underground. They reached a steel door guarded by several men who also greeted Huang Jiejie. The door opened. Have fun, Huang Daxiao. May your pockets be full, and may you leave with a beautiful lady on each arm, one of the guards said. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi smirked at Huang Jiejie, who scowled and pulled out about 2,000 yuan, giving each guard 1,000. Don't talk nonsense. I'm a respectable man. The guards grinned. Of course, of course. As the steel door opened, the quiet was replaced by a cacophony of sounds. The underground space was brightly lit, lavishly decorated, and buzzing with activity. Huang Jiejie pulled Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi inside. Everything here is cash only, he explained. No online payments. If you want to play, I'll get you some cash. Not yet, Yi Xian said. Just looking around. If we decide to play, we'll find you in room 9. Huang Jiejie looked embarrassed. Just call or text me then. It'll be awkward otherwise. Yi Xian figured Huang Jiejie was planning on hiring escorts and getting wild. Okay, he said, exchanging WeChat contacts. You guys enjoy. I'm going to play, Huang Jiejie said, hurrying off and disappearing into the crowd. He's definitely up to no good, Huang Shiqi said, rolling her eyes. Don't get mixed up with him, Yi Xian. I'm not mixed up with him, Yi Xian replied. Let's go. The underground casino had 3 levels. The first, the largest, was divided into various zones, bars, KTVs, an antique market. The second level was solely for gambling, with minimum bets in the thousands. The third level housed the fighting ring. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi were hoping to run into someone from Red Lotus or Shadow. They started exploring the first level. Just after they left, the steel door opened again. Dr. Su entered, spotting Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi. He narrowed his eyes, a smirk playing on his lips. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi wandered over to the antique section. Well, if it isn't Yi Xian, a voice said. It's been years. I didn't expect to see you in our humble establishment. Yi Xian turned to see a thin man about 30 standing behind them. Do you know him? Huang Shiqi asked, frowning. Yi Xian shook his head blankly. He had no memory of the man whatsoever. Who are you? Do we know each other? He asked. Who are you? Do we know each other? Yi Xian asked, bewildered. The skinny man paused. Then his face flushed with anger. Playing dumb? Are we? Keep it up. You've got the wrong guy, Yi Xian said, exasperated. Tisk, TSK. Looks like you really don't remember me. But I remember you clearly. I used to fantasize about skinning you alive, the skinny man snarled. 5 years ago, we were colleagues at Fengyan Group, remember? Oh wait, I was your superior, and thanks to you I got fired. Fengyan Group. The name stirred a faint memory. 5 years ago, Yi Xian had been in Yinjing on a mission, the same one where he'd saved Huang Zanshi. Night Watch had received intel about assassination attempts on several wealthy individuals in Linhai, including executives from Fengyan Group and Huang Zanshi from Xinhai Bank. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi had been sent undercover, he to Fengyan Group and she to Xinhai Bank. That's how they'd acquired the Xinhai Bank diamond card. Fengyan Group had also granted him some company shares, the dividends from which were regularly deposited into his account, managed by Night Watch. As the man continued, Yi Xian started to recognize him. Oh, I remember now. What was your name again? Hu Jin, right? The skinny man's face turned green. It's Wu Jin. Yi Xian cringed, scratching his head. Right, sorry, but we didn't have any issues, did we? Why would I care if you quit? Wu Jin scoffed. No issues? Don't play innocent. I'd finally climbed the ladder to a decent management position at Fengyan Group. We had a joint project with Xinhai Bank and I assumed I'd be in charge. But no, it was handed to you, a newbie. Naturally, I was pissed. You were always late and leaving early. What made you so special? Wu Jin sneered. I complained to upper management, suggesting you must have bribed someone. And guess what? I got fired. Yi Xian had indeed been constantly late and leaving early, but he'd been investigating leads. And since the collaboration's purpose was to protect key personnel from both companies, the project had to be assigned to him and Huang Shiqi. This guy had reported him and gotten fired as a result. Serves him right, Yi Xian thought. But getting fired was a blessing in disguise. Wu Jin continued, a hint of arrogance in his voice. I started my own company and in just a few years, built it into a multi-million-dollar business. Congratulations, Yi Xian said, rubbing his nose. If that's all, we'll be going now. Hold it, Wu Jin sneered. How can you be here? You think I don't know? After I got fired, you got fired too. You couldn't possibly afford this place. How did you get in? He looked at Huang Shiqi. Are you relying on a woman? Let me tell you, this guy is a loser. Stay away from him. Huang Shiqi smiled, leaning against Yi Xian. But I like him this way. What can I do? Wu Jin's face contorted. You really are a useless bum. Now depending on a woman. Yi Xian shrugged, not bothering to respond. Let's go, he said to Huang Shiqi. Yi Xian, I've been wanting revenge ever since you cost me my job. You dare come back to Yinjing? We'll see about that. Wu Jin threatened. He wouldn't cause trouble in the casino. The security was too tight. Even someone like Huang Jia wouldn't risk it. As Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi walked away, Wu Jin ground his teeth. Wu Jin, someone tapped him on the shoulder. Wu Jin turned, his expression changing slightly. Dr. Su Zhang's mentor was highly respected in Yinjing, as were his apprentices. Despite his young age, Su Jiang was a skilled physician, his mentor's most prized student. That's why Huang Zanshi's people had contacted him for physical therapy. It wasn't unusual for someone like Wu Jin, worth tens of millions, to know Su Jiang. You know them? Su Jiang smiled. Yeah, Wu Jin spat. That jerk cost me my job 5 years ago at Fengyan Group. Oh, do you know anything about his background? Su Jiang asked. Surprised by the question, Wu Jin still answered. After I got fired, I looked into him. He's nobody. From Jiangcheng. His family probably had some small business, but I bet he squandered it all. He bribed his way into a project at Fengyan Group, screwed it up, and got fired. Now he seems to have latched onto a rich woman. Su Jiang stroked his chin. Is that so? All right, go ahead and enjoy yourself. Wu Jin gave him a puzzled look, then nodded. As Su Jiang left, Wu Jin watched the Xian's retreating figure, a sly smile spreading across his face. Worked at Fengyan 5 years ago, bribed management, suddenly disappeared, knows martial arts. His eyes narrowed. Night watch. I wonder what his number is, he muttered. Too bad for him. He messed with me. Even Night Watch can't protect him now. Meanwhile, near the Yinjing Film City. The Film City was a popular tourist attraction, with its picturesque ancient architecture and the chance of spotting a celebrity. Inside a hotel room, Qin Shuer sat on a young man's lap, practically draped over him. He had his arm around her waist, both of them watching a night scene being filmed on a nearby set. Look, Qin Shuer whined, that lead role was supposed to be mine. Now Yang Lu has it, and Lu Jia, that nobody, is playing the second lead. And Huang Jiejia, that heartless jerk, dumped me and terminated my contract. The man's eyebrow twitched. Shuer, as long as you're with me, I can give you everything Huang Jiejia could, and more. He's a nobody compared to me. Sure, Xinhai Bank has more money than my family, but who knows how much Huang Jiejia actually controls. He doesn't even care about the family business. That's right. You're the heir to the Xie family, Qin Shuer said. A look of pride crossed the man's face. A major production, you say? Choose your script and director. I'll pull some strings and make you even bigger than before. Qin Shuer pouted. That's not enough. Can you blacklist Lu Jia? The man frowned. Oh, you can't? Qin Shuer said with a forced smile. Okay then. Can't? She's a D-list actress with a bit of fame and a handful of fans. Blacklisting her is child's play, the man scoffed. Meanwhile, in the Cloud Water Villas, a residential complex on the outskirts of Beijing, Lin Xiaohua sat in his living room, nervously fiddling with a pocket watch. The scar on his face looked particularly menacing as he frowned, his gaze fixed on the ticking watch. Suddenly, a knock echoed through the room. Lin Xiaohua rushed to the door. Standing, there was a near 7-foot-tall, hulking figure with an impassive face, holding a deck of cards. His movements were stiff and robotic. Jian Xing, you're 3 minutes and 6 seconds late. Lin Xiaohua blurted out, his entire body tense. This poker-faced giant was Jian Xing, the #1 ranked underground assassin, former Zero of the Night Watch, and now a traitor to the organization. Jian Xing looked at Lin Xiaohua, his face devoid of emotion. You assassins are all psychos, he said, his voice raspy. Lin Xiaohua, though not ranked, was a killer like Ilan Tian. He had severe OCD and an obsession with punctuality. And you're the #1 underground assassin, Lin Xiaohua retorted with a sneer. Jian Xing glanced around, entered the room, and closed the door. He sat on the sofa, shuffling the cards. You disappointed me. You couldn't even handle Wang Jiechi. Is that so? Lin Xiaohua countered. You knew former Zero of the Night Watch was in Linhai. You were too scared to go yourself, so you sent me. I wasn't scared. I simply wanted to avoid conflict with the Night Watch, Jian Xing replied, flicking a card onto the table. Enough talk. Wang Jiechi is back in Linhai. What now? Lin Xiaohua asked. I still don't understand why the Wang family has to be involved. Jian Xing's raspy voice filled the room. Learning some history would do you good. Fine, Lin Xiaohua said impatiently. What's the plan? Jian Xing rubbed his nose. You continue. Find a way to capture Wang Jiechi. Direct confrontation with the Wang family is unwise. And you? Lin Xiaohua asked. I have my own business to attend to, Jian Xing replied flatly. Yi Xin, oblivious to these events, wandered the underground gambling den with Huang Shiqi. A staff member in uniform approached them and bowed. Mr. Yi Xin and Miss Huang Shiqi. Yi Xin and Huang Shiqi exchanged glances. Can we help you? Mr. Huang Jieji sent me, the staff member said with a smile, handing them a small jade token and an invitation. This grants you access to the auction on the first floor. Mr. Huang said you're welcome to browse and bid on anything you like. He'll cover the cost. Yi Xin was taken aback by Huang Jiajia's extravagance. The staff member handed Yi Xin another invitation. This is a VIP invitation to the underground fighting arena on the 3rd floor. The matches begin at midnight. Yi Xin nodded. Access to the 3rd floor indeed required a ticket. The arena was small, holding only a few hundred people, so tickets were expensive. While the price wasn't outrageous for those frequenting the gambling den, acquiring one was difficult. Thank him for me, Yi Xin said, accepting the token and invitation. Enjoy your time, the staff member said with a professional smile. After he left, Huang Shiqi scoffed. This place is run by former gangsters, yet the staff are so professional. Everyone's just trying to make a living, Yi Xin said. Come on, let's check out the auction. They followed the signs. The auction house was a large tent on the 1st floor. It hadn't opened yet, but a crowd holding jade tokens had already gathered outside. Entry requirements were stringent. Ordinary gamblers couldn't enter. As they observed the crowd, a voice called out. Yi Xin turned to see Wu Jin standing nearby, a sneer on his face. You want to get into the auction? Yi Xin frowned. Is there a problem? Wu Jin scoffed. Do you even know the requirements? Someone like you? Even I can't get a ticket. You can't get in, so I can't either? Yi Xin asked, amused. This auction only has 3 items, all extremely valuable, Wu Jin explained. Only 50 seats are available, reserved for VIPs. You? What makes you think you're qualified? Yi Xin was surprised by the strict requirements. He'd visited the gambling den 5 years ago, but never the auction. Wu Jin looked at Huang Shiqi. Is this beautiful lady an heiress from one of Beijing's elite families? No, Yi Xin said with a shrug. I knew it. A real heiress would never look at you. Wu Jin sneered. Take my advice and leave. Don't embarrass yourself. Huang Shiqi looked at him. You can't get in either. What are you doing here? Wu Jin stammered, his face flushing. I can watch the live broadcast on the screen. I want to see what they're auctioning. There was indeed a screen by the entrance. Yi Xin couldn't help but smile. Wu Jin caught the smile. Are you mocking me? He asked, anger flashing in his eyes. Yes, Yi Xin replied, not bothering to deny it. As if you can get in, Wu Jin said, his face darkening. What if I can? Yi Xin challenged. If you can get in, I'll run naked around the 1st floor. Wu Jin scoffed. As Yi Xin was about to retort, Huang Shiqi nudged him and subtly gestured toward someone nearby. It was Su Jiang, dressed in a suit, wearing glasses, and watching them with a faint smile. A cold glint flickered in his eyes. What's he doing here? Huang Shiqi asked. He probably still resents us for exposing his scheme against Grandpa Huang. Yi Xin shrugged. Let him be. As long as he doesn't bother us, I don't care who he is. Suddenly, the doors opened. Several people emerged. The auction is about to begin. Please enter, esteemed guests. As the chatter filled the room, many of those waiting stood and instinctively moved towards the entrance. They presented their jade tokens one by one and filed inside. Su Jiang scoffed, pulling a small jade token from his pocket and flashing it provocatively at Yi Xin, as if to say, I have one, do you? Yi Xin touched his nose, a slight smile playing on his lips. Wu Jin watched the procession of VIPs enter the auction hall. He clenched his jaw, muttering under his breath. One day, I'll be in there too. Yi Xin found his fervent whisper amusing. After the initial rush subsided, he exchanged a glance with Huang Shiqi and headed for the entrance. Seeing them approach the door, Wu Jin's face contorted in disbelief, then into a sneer. Show-offs, he muttered. Yi Xin, overhearing him, reached the entrance and casually pulled his own small jade token from his pocket. The attendant gestured them inside. Turning back, Yi Xin flashed the token at Wu Jin. I'll be expecting you to run laps around the building when I come out. Wu Jin froze, his mind reeling. He has a token? He'd clearly seen Yi Xin, not Huang Shiqi, produce it. His mind raced. Could that guy, who used to work under me, have become a big shot in just 5 years? No, impossible, he muttered, shaking his head. If he were that successful, he'd be plastered all over the news as a young entrepreneur. It must be that woman. She must come from a wealthy family. He paused, still perplexed. But why would someone from a good family be with him? As Yi Xin and Huang Shiqi entered the hall, Wu Jin clenched his jaw, a bitter taste in his mouth. Inside, Yi Xian noted the hall size. It could easily hold 50 or 60 people, each seated in a plush, comfortable armchair. After they settled into seats in the back, an attendant verified their tokens and handed them a numbered paddle, number 50. According to Wu Jin, only 50 people were allowed in at a time. They were clearly the last. As they sat, the rear doors closed and the stage lights came up. A woman in a revealing dress walked on stage, microphone in hand. She bowed. "Welcome to tonight's auction. Let's begin with our first item." An assistant carried a long box onto the stage, placing it carefully on a stand. He opened the box. Inside lay an exquisite-looking knife. Clang! The assistant drew the knife. Under the lights, it shimmered with a pale blue sheen. "Blue Star?" Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi exchanged a stunned look. The Blue Star knife. Night Watch agents typically use dual blades. In the underworld, there was a ranking of weapons. Yi Xian's own blades, Breaking Wind and Nameless, were ranked 7th and 2nd, respectively. The Blue Star was ranked 5th. Yi Xian had only heard of it. It had been lost for nearly 20 years. He never expected to see it here. Could it be a fake? Huang Shiqi whispered. "I won't know until I get my hands on it," Yi Xian murmured. On stage, the assistant placed the blade against a steel pipe as thick as a wrist. The pipe was effortlessly sliced clean through. It truly cut iron like mud. Yi Xian exhaled. "It must be real. I want it." Huang Shiqi breathed, her eyes gleaming. She had her own blades, but they weren't nearly as renowned. The Blue Star was mesmerizing. "I'll get it for you no matter the cost," Yi Xian assured her. A top-tier weapon like this could significantly enhance Huang Shiqi's combat abilities. Such a weapon's value transcended mere money. As the assistant demonstrated the blade's sharpness, the room erupted in excited murmurs. These were some of the wealthiest people in the country, and while most didn't recognize the blade's significance, they saw its sharpness and coveted its collector's value. Only a few, like Su Jiang near the front, understood its true worth. He licked his lips, his eyes burning with avarice. The host announced, "The Blue Star knife. Starting bid, 50 million. Minimum increment, 10 million. 60 million. 70 million. A flurry of bids followed. Outside, Wu Jin sat watching the live feed on a screen, his jaw dropping at the starting price, more than his entire net worth. The price continued to climb. Past 100 million, the bidding slowed. Even for these tycoons, the Blue Star's value was primarily as a collector's item. Beyond a certain point, it simply wasn't worth it. Only a handful remained, pushing the price ever higher. 150 million, 180 million, 200 million. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi watched calmly. Even among the wealthiest individuals present, the escalating price was causing a stir. Are they insane? It's just a knife. I don't get it. It's almost 500 million, and it's still going up. Crazy. They're all crazy. Even here, this is rare. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. This auction was worth coming to. These bidders know what they're doing. Most of them are probably from the underworld. Huang Shiqi nodded. "It's at 600 million now. Do you even have that much?" Yi Xian smiled. "I'd bet the entire Hanyu group to get you this knife." Huang Shiqi smiled back unconcerned. 800 million, someone shouted. The host's eyes gleamed. 800 million from bidder number 19. Do I hear any higher bids? 800 million once. The other bidders fell silent. Even for underworld figures, this was a substantial sum. 1 billion. Su Jiang's voice cut through the silence. 1 billion from bidder number 29. The host's voice trembled. No one expected such a price. While high-value items were common here, the previous record was only around 350 million. This was almost triple that. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Even Dr. Su is bidding. I don't understand their thinking. I heard Dr. Su practices martial arts. He probably appreciates these weapons. I still think it's not worth it. Bidder number 19, a middle-aged man, hesitated. Wait, I need to make a call. But the auction wouldn't stop for him. 1 billion once, 1 billion twice. The gavel was raised. Yi Xian smiled and raised his paddle. His voice rang out clearly. 2 billion. Yi Xian's voice was calm as he said, 20 billion. Whoosh! The room erupted in an uproar. It wasn't just the increased bid. It was the sheer audacity of it. They had become somewhat numb to the escalating prices. But this sudden doubling of the bid was completely unexpected. Even Su Jiang was stunned. He had been smiling, inwardly mocking the wealthy bidders. A bunch of ignorant fools. 10 billion for this knife? Whether I use it myself or sell it on the black market, I'll make a killing. But now, someone had doubled the price. Su Jiang was a renowned doctor in Yanjing, serving many wealthy clients and charging exorbitant fees. Many of these clients, desperate for his life-saving skills, paid him handsomely. Combined with his prestigious background and wealthy mentor, he was quite well off. However, he wasn't among the truly wealthiest. 10 billion was almost all of his assets. Now, Yi Xian's bid left him helpless. All eyes turned to Yi Xian. He instinctively covered his face with his hand, as did Huang Shiqi. They didn't want their faces to be recognized. But Su Jiang still recognized Yi Xian. It's that bastard. His eyes flashed with anger. The other bidders also glared at Yi Xian. This was a top 10 weapon on the underground weapon rankings, not something that could be measured by money. Yet here in the auction, it was being measured by money, and they couldn't afford to bid any higher. Su Jiang was unwilling to give up. He stood up and addressed Yi Xian. Brother, we've met before. Give me some face, and let me have this knife. I really like it. Yi Xian scoffed. He didn't have a good impression of Su Jiang. If it weren't for old Master Huang's intervention, he would have beaten Su Jiang up this afternoon. Covering his face, he said indifferently, Let you have it? Who do you think you are? Another wave of gasps went through the room. Su Jiang was apparently well-liked. One of the wealthy bidders seemed to take offense. He chuckled and said, Dr. So if you really like this knife, just keep bidding. I can lend you 11 billion. You can have your master pay me back later. The auctioneer, her eyes gleaming with excitement, slowed down the raising of her gavel, enjoying the drama. 20 billion, second time. 20 billion, 30 billion. All right, mister. Han, I'll borrow it. I'll tell my master when I get back, and he'll definitely repay you. Su Jiang gritted his teeth and raised his paddle. 21 billion. Yi Xian scoffed, raised his paddle again, and said calmly, 30 billion. He completely shut down Su Jiang, raising the bid by almost 10 billion each time. The room erupted in chaos again. Holy shit, he's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Who is this guy? 30 billion for a knife? That's 30 billion. How many people here have that kind of cash flow? That's 30 billion in cash. Not just a number. This is insane. Su Jiang was dumbfounded, cold sweat dripping from his forehead. Yi Xian was clearly determined to win the knife, no matter the cost. And that was precisely Yi Xian's intention, even if it meant risking the entire Hanyu Group. It was a company worth hundreds of billions, and this was only 30 billion. 30 billion first time. 30 billion second time. The auctioneer waited expectantly, hoping someone would raise the bid further. The higher the final price, the higher her commission. But to her disappointment, no one else bid. No one offered to lend Su Jiang any more money. They knew Su Jiang's capabilities. 10 billion was possible, but any more than that would be difficult for him to repay. Besides, most people thought spending over $1 billion on this knife wasn't worth it. It didn't look like a priceless antique, just sharp and clearly a product of modern craftsmanship. Its collector's value wasn't that high. The auctioneer sighed. 30 billion, third time. Bang! The gavel fell. She breathed a sigh of relief. This price was enough, almost 10 times the auction house's previous record. Her commission would be enormous. Su Jiang's face was grim. He turned and glared at Yi Xian. Yi Xian looked back at him disdainfully. He had a good relationship with old Master Huang. He was already displeased with Su Jiang for scheming against the old man. Su Jiang had better not provoke him. If he did, he wouldn't hesitate to teach him a lesson. After the auction, a staff member brought the item to Yi Xian. Handing it over, he smiled and said, Sir, please give us your jade token. Don't we pay directly? Yi Xian asked, taking out his Xinhai Bank diamond card. No need, the staff member replied. Due to the large transaction amounts at the auction, all jade tokens are registered. We settle privately after the transaction. Yi Xian was surprised. This underground auction house was more powerful than he had imagined, not even afraid of people running off with the goods. But then he understood. Everyone here was a big shot. With registered identities, their assets were easily traceable. He nodded and handed over the token. The staff member inserted it into a machine for verification. When Huang Jiejia's name appeared on the screen, he paused slightly. But he didn't ask any questions. All right, he nodded, returning the token. Yi Xian smiled and tossed the box to Huang Shiqi. Huang Shiqi excitedly opened the box and caressed the exquisite scabbard, her eyes shining. Outside the auction house, Wu Jin stood dumbfounded, his jaw practically on the floor as he stared at the screen. He gritted his teeth and decided to leave. First, he didn't want to be mocked by Yi Xian. Second, it was too demoralizing. 30 billion. The final price was 30 billion. It was too outrageous. His pride was wounded. If he knew Yi Xian was the buyer, his expression would have been priceless. Meanwhile, the second auction item was brought out, another sword, but an ancient bronze sword. This sword is a relic from the Warring States period. It's incredibly well-preserved, a rarity in China. Yi Xian glanced at it. This auction seemed to be weapon-themed. But this sword only had collector's value. It was completely useless to him. For collectors, however, its value was immeasurable. It was eventually sold for 3 billion. The people who had been vying for the Blue Star knife didn't bid this time, which aroused some curiosity. The auction was nearing its end. The last item was also an antique, holding no interest for Yi Xian. Before it ended, they left the auction hall. Their goal was to see how the other bidders left and follow them to determine their identities. To their surprise, those bidders also left. Yi Xian grinned. Looks like we've saved ourselves some trouble. These people seem to be planning a robbery. Huang Shiqi smiled. It seems so. Let them follow for now. It's almost midnight. Let's go to the third floor. Yi Xian nodded. They went to the third floor and showed their invitations. The guard led them to a private room. Inside, Huang Jiejie was sitting there with two beautiful women. He had clearly been drinking, but he was completely sober. Seeing Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi, he said with a mournful face, Brother Xian, I asked you to bid on something, not something so expensive. 30 billion. You're trying to kill me. I'm finished. My grandfather will definitely freeze my accounts now. Yi Xian looked at him surprised. Really? I'd like to see that. It'll blow your mind, Huang Jiejie said excitedly. It's not a place just anyone can get into. He coughed. Of course, it's no problem for people like you and Shiqijie. Yi Xian chuckled. This guy's sycophantic attitude was a far cry from his earlier arrogance. It was amusing how someone from such a privileged background could develop such a personality. It's called an underground casino, but it's more like an underworld, Huang Jiejie continued, warming to his topic. It's a whole world down there. Bars, KTVs, gambling auctions. You name it. Yi Xian already knew this. The place had originally been a massive air raid shelter from the war. Years ago, someone had bought the land, expanded the shelter, and transformed it into a casino, initially catering to the wealthy. As more affluent patrons frequented the place, they started bringing in their own food and entertainment, leading to the development of various businesses, including a black market for antiques and artifacts. It had gradually become a sizable underground world. But the best part, Huang Jiejie said, his eyes gleaming, is the underground fighting ring. Way more exciting than UFC. He glanced at Huang Shiqi. But it's a bit too bloody for you, Shiqijie. Maybe not your thing. He clearly didn't know about her night watch activities. If he knew she was a ruthless warrior on the battlefield, he'd probably run for his life. You go there every day? Yi Xian asked. Nah, just occasionally with my friends. He continued, I'll introduce you to them. Once you know them, you can walk tall anywhere in Yinjing. Just drop our names. Who are they? Yi Xian asked, intrigued. Besides me, there's Wang Hamlin from the Wang family, Guo Weixing from Fengyan Group, and Sun Liang from the Sun family, Huang Jiejie said proudly. We've been friends since kindergarten. We call ourselves the Four Princes of Yinjing. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi exchanged a look. More like the four spoiled brats of Yinjing, Yi Xian thought. You mean the four spoiled brats, Yi Xian corrected. Well, Huang Jiejie said, as he drove. I guess you could say that. But we're not that bad. We party and spend money, but we don't force anyone. Besides, what else are we supposed to do? We're rich and incompetent. Good point, Huang Shiqi said dryly. Anyway, I'll introduce you. If you run into trouble, just mention our names. It'll work wonders, Huang Jiejie said cheerfully. No thanks. Just get us in. We'll look around ourselves, Yi Xian replied. A flicker of relief crossed Huang Jiejie's face. He clearly wasn't keen on hanging out with them. Okay, he said, exchanging WeChat contacts. You guys enjoy. I'm going to play, Huang Jejia said, hurrying off and disappearing into the crowd. He's definitely up to no good, Huang Shiqi said, rolling her eyes. Don't get mixed up with him, Yi Xan. I'm not mixed up with him, Yi Xan replied. Let's go. The underground casino had 3 levels. The first, the largest, was divided into various zones: bars, KTVs, and antique market. The second level was solely for gambling, with minimum bets in the thousands. The third level housed the fighting ring. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi were hoping to run into someone from Red Lotus or Shadow. They started exploring the first level. Just after they left, the steel door opened again. Dr. Su entered, spotting Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi. He narrowed his eyes, a smirk playing on his lips. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi wandered over to the antique section. Well, if it isn't Yi Xian, a voice said. It's been years. I didn't expect to see you in our humble establishment. Yi Xian turned to see a thin man about 30 standing behind them. Do you know him? Huang Shiqi asked, frowning. Yi Xian shook his head blankly. He had no memory of the man whatsoever. Who are you? Do we know each other? He asked. Yi Xian was completely oblivious to the events unfolding in Jiangxing. He stood at his hotel room door, frowning at the scene before him. Huang Shiqi had already turned to flee. Number 2, why run now that we've found you? A calm voice called out from inside. Huang Shiqi stopped, a wry smile on her face. Grandpa Zhuo, you still remember to call me Grandpa, the old man inside snorted. He looked ancient, with white hair and a wrinkled face, but his posture was ramrod straight. This was Zhui Yiming, commander of the Huaxia Night Watch and the highest-ranking member. His nickname? Invincible. He was said to be the most powerful martial artist in the world, unmatched and unparalleled. Yi Xian owed his skills to Zhui Yiming and a handful of other elderly Night Watch members, the very first generation, veterans of countless battles. Beside Zhui Yiming sat a jovial-looking old man with a cheerful smile. But Yi Xian knew this man, Wang Hong, was the true brains of Night Watch. He made all the key decisions. What are you doing here? Yi Xian asked, rubbing his nose. What am I doing here? Zhui Yiming retorted. Ask Huang Shiqi. After that mission 3 years ago, you lost your memory, which I can overlook. But what did Huang Shiqi do? 3 years. 3 whole years without even checking in. He glared at Yi Xian. And you? Did you even bother to call after you regained your memory? Huh? Seriously? Yi Xian muttered, rolling his eyes. You told me not to come back, and I still don't understand why Invincible was scared of the Dempsey family. You wouldn't touch them, so I did. I scattered their ashes to the wind. Ming Xiaonan and Zhichuyu exchanged glances. I knew this would happen, Zhichuyu sighed. Zhui Yiming rolled up his sleeves, about to stand up. Wang Hong waved a hand. All right, enough bickering. Let's get down to business. Zhui Yiming huffed. I'll deal with you later. Wang Hong sighed. Yi Xian, you didn't come back to question us or charge off to Europe after learning the truth. That tells me you understand the implications. You Shiqi and Tang Tang, we watched you all grow up. Tang Tang used to steal my cigarettes and get a beating for it. When he left, I was heartbroken, but sometimes we have no choice. He continued, we didn't publicize your story, giving you tacit permission to seek your own revenge. Yi Xian rubbed his nose, remaining silent. Zhui Yiming snorted and turned away. So, business, Yi Xian said, looking at the 2 old men. You both came to Yinjing. It must be important. We've picked up some intel, Wang Hong confirmed. The timing is unclear, but it's potentially as serious as the upheaval 6 years ago. Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi exchanged a look. That upheaval was the battle where Yi Xian had become number 0, solidifying his reputation in the underworld. How long? Yi Xian asked. 6 months to a year, Wang Hong said calmly. If things escalate, the red slash will be unsheathed. That's why we're here. Yi Xian frowned, glancing at Zhui Yiming. The red slash, the most powerful weapon in existence, belonged to him. Despite his invincible title, it was said he had only one strike left. Once unleashed, it would cost him his life. If the red slash is used, Night Watch will be in your hands, Wang Hong said, smiling faintly at Yi Xian. I've reviewed the people you recommended. Wu Yao has potential. With proper training, he'll be a valuable asset. And Jiang Wei has a good mind. I'll personally mentor him. Don't make it sound like a final testament, Xian said, waving a hand. We have at least 6 months. Plenty of time. Wang Hong chuckled. That's another reason we didn't want you back at night watch. Enjoy some city life. Carrying the burden of night watch is exhausting. Xian felt a wave of restlessness. If the sky falls, we young ones will hold it up. And if a real monster appears, I'll swing that blade for the old man. At least you have some sense of loyalty, Zhui Yiming scoffed. But don't worry, your skills are fine for dealing with Healing Mountain, but if a real threat emerges. Wang Hong cut him off with a wave. The second matter is your medals from 3 years ago, Wang Hong said, pointing to a nearby crate. And everything else you're owed. He tossed 2 gold medals to Xian and Huang Shiqi. These were second only to the Star Glory Medal, awarded by the Global Night Watch Council, and only given out 3 times. To Dempsey, to Zhui Yiming, and to Xian himself. This was their gold medal, 3 years overdue. Wang Hong stood. That's all? We have to go. And remember, protect Wang Jieqi. She's important. You're leaving already? Xian asked, surprised. What? Feeling itchy? Want a beating? Zhui Yiming glared. Xian fell silent. After they left, Zhiqiu spoke. Underground activity has been increasing, especially the Red Lotus. The old men are preparing for the worst. Xian frowned. I said it before. If that day comes, I'll swing the blade for him. Even if it kills me. I don't have time to run night watch. He looked at the crates. Take these. I don't need them anymore. He returned to his room. Something's not right with Xian, Ming Xiaonan said, watching him go. Huang Shiqi sighed. Grandpa Zhuo practically raised him from prison. They bicker, but they're close like father and son. He's probably upset about what they said. He'll be fine after some sleep. Okay, Ming Xiaonan mumbled. In his room, Xian sat cross-legged, eyes closed, his expression slowly returning to its usual calm. The next morning, he woke earlier than usual, feeling somewhat refreshed. After a quick wash, he headed to work. At the sales department, he noticed people staring at him. He found it odd, but didn't dwell on it. He sat down at his desk. Morning, he said to Linya beside him. Linya blushed. Thank you for yesterday. Because of that deal, I've been officially promoted. The commission won't come through until next month, but I'll give you your share then. No rush, Xian smiled. Why are people staring at me? Don't you know? The whole company is buzzing about how we got that money back. Linya hesitate. Xian, would you like to have dinner with me after work? A beautiful woman's invitation was impossible to refuse. Sure, he agreed. Xian sat at his desk when Ho Baoquan rushed over. Xian, he asked. I heard from Linya that you negotiated with the bar. How did you pull that off? Xian glanced at him. I told you it was like picking up money. You didn't believe me. They owed us money. I went and asked for it. They refused, so I made a scene. They were embarrassed and paid up. Ho Baoquan and the others stared at him, dumbfounded. Linya burst out laughing. She hadn't revealed the details of the encounter, only saying that Xian had collected the debt. Hearing his version of events was hilarious. The others were skeptical. Really? Ho Baoquan asked. That easy? Yep, that easy, Xian said with a grin. 60,000. Easy peasy. Ho Baoquan still couldn't believe it. Plenty of others had tried and ended up in the hospital. Of course, they hadn't resorted to making a scene. Perhaps the bar had simply wanted to avoid further trouble? He couldn't figure it out, but he couldn't deny the pang of envy. 120,000 in commission, with 60,000 for Xian. He, a sales team leader, wouldn't earn that much in a year. Xian, a voice called out. Xian turned to see Wang Yi glaring at him. Wang Yi had planned to use the bad debt to pressure Linya into a date. Xian's intervention had ruined his plan. What? Xian asked, looking up. The other salespeople exchanged nervous glances. Few dared to speak to Wang Yi like that. Xian was the first. Wang Yi frowned. Come to my office, he said coldly. The vice president wants to see you. He turned and walked toward his office. Linya and the others paled. Xian's in trouble, someone muttered. Who's the vice president? Xian asked Linya. Wang Yi's uncle. Linya replied, her lips pressed together. Wang Yi only got his position because of him. Xian understood. That explained Wang Yi's sudden change in attitude. He'd found his backing. Xian shrugged and headed towards the office. Inside, a man in a blue suit, about 40 or 50 years old, sat waiting. He looked Xian up and down. You're Xian? Is there something I can do for you? Yi Xian asked. Yi Xian, this is Mr. Feng Jing, our vice president. Show some respect. Wang Yi snapped. Yi Xian glanced at him. I'm not like you, kissing up to superiors and bullying subordinates. You. Wang Yi's eyes flashed with anger. Feng Jing waved a hand. Yi Xian, he said, don't be so aggressive. Does your family know Mr. Peng? Did he recommend you for this job? Yi Xian nodded. You could say that. Why? Just making conversation, Feng Jing replied. I wanted to let you know that Wang Yi is my nephew. I'm also quite fond of Linya. I think she and Wang Yi would make a good match, and I've been trying to set them up. He looked at Yi Xian. So, stay out of their business. While you may have some connection to Mr. Peng, I doubt he'd object if I fired you. Just then, they heard murmuring outside. Hello, Mr. Peng. The door opened, and Mr. Peng Handong, entered. He frowned at Feng Jing. What are you doing here? Feng Jing quickly stood. Mr. Peng, he said politely, I heard our new employee recovered the bad debt from the Qingwa bar. I came to congratulate him and have a chat. He wouldn't reveal his threat in front of Peng Handong. Yi Xian scoffed. Moments ago, Feng Jing had been so arrogant. Now he was acting like a sycophant. Peng Handong frowned. Come outside. I have an announcement. Feng Jing shot Yi Xian a menacing look. Yi Xian followed Peng Handong out. Peng Handong clapped his hands. Everyone, please stop what you're doing. I have an announcement. Everyone turned to him. Yesterday, I finalized a partnership with Shijia Group, owned by the Wang family of Beijing. Our sales department will be handling the collaboration. Excited murmurs rippled through the sales team. The Wang family, true aristocracy, with unimaginable wealth and influence. Whoever landed this account would not only make a fortune, but also receive a guaranteed promotion. Yi Xian smiled to himself. He knew this was arranged by Zhiqiu and the Night Watch, a way to get him close to Wang Jieqi. The Wang family specifically requested someone from our sales department, Peng Handong continued. This gentleman beside me, The sales team was stunned. Yi Xian's arrival hadn't been a grand affair. While yesterday's debt collection had made him somewhat known, most only knew his name. They were now being told that this newcomer would be handling the Wang family account. No one could quite process it. The more astute quickly realized the implications. While Jida Company was successful, it was nothing compared to the Wang family Shijia Group. The timing of the deal, arriving the day after Yi Xian joined, suggested he had brought it in. Feng Jing instantly understood. He stared at Yi Xian, a sense of foreboding washing over him. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead. Wang Yi, however, remained clueless. Mr. Peng, he blurted out. Yi Xian just started. He doesn't know anything. Maybe someone else? Or I could handle it personally. Feng Jing nearly fainted. It was too late to stop him. Yi Xian spoke up. Mr. Peng, I'm not sure that's possible. Mr. Feng Jing just threatened to fire me. Peng Handong's gaze snapped to Feng Jing and Wang Yi. Mr. Peng. Feng Jing stammered. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. You and your nephew can pack your things and report to HR. Peng Handong said coldly. Meanwhile, at Jiang Zhenan's home in Jiangcheng, Jiang Zhenan paced back and forth, a cigarette in his hand, dark circles and bloodshot eyes evidence of his sleepless night. His phone rang. Any news? He asked urgently. Have you found her? Nothing, the voice on the other end replied. We reviewed all the security footage. We saw her entering the building, but there's no record of her leaving. Her phone goes straight to voicemail. It's like she vanished into thin air. Jiang Zhenan stumbled back, his face ashen. Back at Zhiqiu's apartment, Huang Shiqi was sprawled on the sofa, surrounded by snacks, watching TV. Skipping work again? She asked with a smile. Then, noticing Yi Xian's grim expression, she sat up straighter. What's wrong? Zhiqiu and Ming Xiaonan emerged from their rooms. What is it? Zhiqiu asked. Jiang Wanwan disappeared yesterday. I need to go to Jiangcheng, Yi Xian said. Taking your blades? Zhiqiu asked. I'm flying commercial. I can't bring them, Yi Xian replied. Keep an eye on Wang Jieqi. I'll find Jiang Wanwan as quickly as possible and come back. With old man still here, she should be safe for now, Yi Xian said. Zhiqiu frowned. Be careful. They weren't overly worried about Yi Xian's safety. Even without his blades, Unless Lan Tian showed up personally, he was unlikely to face any real threats. I'll go with you, Huang Shiqi offered. Yi Exan shook his head. I'll go alone. Your injuries haven't fully healed. Focus on recovering, Yi Exan said. Huang Shiqi nodded. After a few more words, Yi Exan left. He booked a flight online, and Jiqiyu drove him to the airport. 2 hours later, Yi Exan arrived at Jiangxing Airport. Stepping out, he felt a strange detachment. He'd spent more time in Jiangxing than anywhere else besides Linhai, but he had few fond memories of the place. He'd come here on a mission that had ended tragically with the death of his brother, Li Tangtang, Night Watch's former number 7. He'd lost his memory for 3 years, becoming a live-in son-in-law, despised by his mother-in-law and wife. Night Watch's number 0, reduced to a mere laborer. Sign, he hailed a cab. Dingxing Group, he told the driver. He was meeting Zhang Zhenan at his company headquarters. His phone rang. It was Zhang Zhenan. Hello, Yi Exan answered. Any news? Someone contacted me. They have Wan. They want a bone I have, Zhang Zhenan said. A bone? Yi Exan frowned. Yes, Zhang Zhenan confirmed. A family heirloom, passed down through generations. It's called the Dragon Bone, said to guarantee our family's wealth. It's in my possession now. Did they say where to meet? They told me to wait for a call. They also said they know I have connections with Night Watch and warned me not to contact you. I understand, Yi Exan said. Hang up. We'll talk more when I arrive. Half an hour later, Yi Exan reached Dingxing Group. It hadn't been long since he'd left Jiangxing. He worked there as Jiang Wanwan's assistant, and clearly, Zhang Zhenan had notified reception. They let him pass without question. As he reached the elevators, he paused. Lin Qingxue stood there, chatting and laughing with a young man. They were so engrossed they didn't notice him. Yi Exan waited quietly behind them. Qingxue, are you free tonight? The young man asked politely. Yi Exan raised an eyebrow. Lin Qingxue still attracted attention. Even in the short time she'd been back, she'd already caught the eye of several men in the company. Sorry, I'm busy tonight, Lin Qingxue replied smoothly. But manager, he is also pursuing you, the young man persisted. What's so great about him? Just a higher salary. I've only just joined the company. Lin Qingxue gave him a cool look. Enough. The elevator's here. The young man watched her enter, a wry smile on his face. Yi Exan smirked inwardly. Some things never change. Even after everything with him, even after her regrets, she was still focused on finding a rich man. Perhaps his rejection had even made her aim higher. Lin Qingxue turned around in the elevator, her arms full of files. She froze, her eyes widening in shock. Yi Exan met her gaze and stepped into the elevator, pressing the button for the top floor. Lin Qingxue opened her mouth, but no words came out. They'd been married for 3 years, but there had been no real connection between them. Are you here to see me? She finally stammered. The young man next to her, assuming she was talking to him, started to speak, but Yi Exan cut him off. No, I have business here. Focus on your work. Lin Qingxue clenched her jaw, then fell silent. As they reached her floor, she blurted out, I'm working hard now. Since you're in Jiangxing, let's have dinner tonight. I'll invite my mother, too. The young man's eyes nearly popped out of his head. He could barely get a lunch date, and here she was inviting Yi Exan to dinner along with her mother. Lin Qingxue had never mentioned her previous marriage at work. It wouldn't exactly boost her prospects. In fact, she'd taken this job because Dingxing Group offered a good salary and attracted wealthy men. If she couldn't have Yi Exan or his money, perhaps she could find another wealthy husband here. She looked at Yi Exan expectantly. His gaze was flat. No thanks. Your floor. Aren't you getting off? Lin Qingxue sighed inwardly. He truly harbored no feelings for her. The contrast between his attentiveness during their 3 years of marriage and his current indifference stung. As the elevator doors closed, she turned away, unshed tears in her eyes. Regret? Resentment? Yi Exan didn't care. He hadn't expected to run into her. The elevator reached the top floor, and he headed straight for Zhang Zhenan's office. Yi Exan grabbed Su Jiang's shoulder, a playful look in his eyes. Su Jiang frowned and turned around. Is something the matter? He asked. Huang Shiqi frowned slightly, sensing something amiss, while Huang Exan looked bewildered, unsure why Yi Exan had intervened. I'm giving old master Huang physiotherapy. Please don't disturb me, Su Jiang said, glancing at Yi Xian. Yi Xian smiled and pulled Su Jiang back forcefully. Su Jiang stumbled backward. What do you mean? A cold glint flashed in Su Jiang's eyes. He looked at Huang Xian. Huang Xian, it seems your friend has something against me. Huang Xian looked confused, turning to Yi Xian with a questioning gaze. She, like Huang Zhongshu, deeply respected Yi Xian. Although puzzled by his actions, they didn't question him. Yi Xian touched his nose. If you continue this treatment for another 10 days or half a month, you'll kill old Master Huang. Huang Zhongshu and Huang Xian's expressions changed dramatically. Su Jiang's face also flickered, but he quickly regained his composure. He sneered at Yi Xian. I don't know what you're talking about. Still pretending? Yi Xian asked, a smile playing on his lips. You've practiced martial arts, haven't you? So, what if I have? Su Jiang asked. While giving old Master Huang a full-body massage, you've been channeling true qi into his body, especially his lungs. This temporarily stimulates his lungs, but causes them to weaken over time, Yi Xian said calmly. I was wondering why old Master Huang has been coughing so much, even though he's generally healthy for his age. Su Jiang's face paled. Don't spout nonsense, he said, looking at Yi Xian. He turned to Huang Xian. Huang Xian, don't you trust me? Don't you know how good I am to you? I've been pursuing you for years. Although you haven't accepted me, you can feel my sincerity. I've never charged a penny for old Master Huang's treatments. I'm trying to win over your family. Why would I harm him? Precisely because you like Huang Xian, and old Master Huang doesn't approve of you. Huang Shiqi said, standing up. You want him gone sooner. Am I right? She stood by the door, blocking Su Jiang's escape route. Su Jiang, I knew you were no good from the moment I saw you. Huang Zhongshu stood up, looking at Su Jiang. As expected, you had ulterior motives. Get out, and don't ever contact Huang Xian again. Huang Xian also believed Yi Xian without question. She looked at Su Jiang. Su Jiang, you've gone too far. She hurried to support Huang Zhongshu. Su Jiang's face darkened. He glared at Yi Xian, then picked up his medical kit and walked towards the door. Yi Xian frowned. Why not keep him here? Forget it. His master is an old friend of mine. He helped many people when he was younger and holds a high position in Yanjing. Su Jiang is his favorite disciple. I'm not seriously ill, and it wouldn't benefit anyone if we made a big fuss, Huang Zhongshu said, waving his hand dismissively. Yi Xian's expression shifted slightly. According to Huang Zhongshu, his old friend was a powerful figure in Yanjing, someone truly influential. But since Huang Zhongshu was willing to let him go, Yi Xian didn't see the need to detain him. He and Huang Shiqi spent the afternoon with old Master Huang, and after dinner, they left. Yi Xian didn't go back to the company to clock out. It was already around 8 p.m. when they left, well after working hours. Where to? Huang Shiqi asked. Yi Xian touched his nose. Fuyu probably knows the whereabouts of many underworld figures in Yanjing, but even if he does, he probably won't tell us. He stroked his chin. I remember there was an underground casino in Yanjing when we were here on a mission before. You want to go check it out? Huang Shiqi asked. Although it's an underground casino, it's just run by some local gangsters. Red Lotus and Shadow's people might not go there. Let's take a look. We might find something unexpected, Yi Xian said with a smile. But if I remember correctly, that casino is very exclusive. You can't get in without connections, Huang Shiqi frowned. Ring, ring, ring. Yi Xian's phone rang. It was Red Rose. Huang Shiqi pouted. She clearly didn't have a good impression of Red Rose. Yi Xian answered, cutting straight to the point. What's up? Oh, you're so cold, rejecting me so strongly. It's making me excited I can barely speak, Red Rose said in a sultry voice. Yi Xian was taken aback. He hadn't expected this from Red Rose. He was even more certain now that these so-called assassins were all psychopaths. They all had strange quirks. Red Rose, if you flirt with me again, I'll come to Linhai and kill you, Huang Shiqi said, anger flashing in her eyes. Red Rose paused. Who is this? This is someone from my former team. You can call her Night Watch number 2, Yi Xian said with a smile. Red Rose fell silent for a moment, then said seriously, all right, let's get down to business. First, the Zhou family will probably declare bankruptcy soon, Red Rose said thoughtfully. Second, Helan Tian is about to make a move. Yi Xian's eyebrows shot up. Whether the Dempsey family was involved or not, Helan Tian was the mastermind behind the incident 3 years ago. Yi Xian would never forget Number 7's death. It was Helan Tian who delivered the fatal blow. Yi Xian's breathing quickened. A cold glint flashed in Huang Shiqi's eyes. When? Where? Yi Xian asked. I don't know the details. He sent me a message telling me to be ready to receive him, but I can't reach him now. I'll try to lure him to Yinjing or tell you his location when he contacts me again, Red Rose said. Okay. Yi Xian exhaled slowly, then hung up. The underworld is becoming increasingly active. Yi Xian frowned, sighing. Our return to Night Watch will probably be sooner than we thought. Huang Shiqi frowned. I won't go back until I get my revenge. As they talked, Huang Jejia peeked his head out from behind the door and cautiously slipped out. He looked embarrassed when he saw Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi. Brother Xian, you haven't left yet? Yi Xian looked at him with amusement. Are you going out to paint the town red again? Huang Jejia said seriously. What do you mean paint the town red? My family has too much money. I'm just helping them spend it. He grinned. I'm going somewhere fun, a place most people don't know about. Want to come? Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi exchanged glances. What place? Yi Xian asked with a smile. An underground casino. Huang Jejia replied. It's a blast. Yi Xian was speechless. He had just been discussing how to get in, and now Huang Jejia had appeared. Zhang Jinan stood up as Yi Xian entered his office. Having been up all night, he looked haggard. You're finally here, he said, relief evident in his voice. Yi Xian's presence had a calming effect on him. Any news? Has he contacted you again? Yi Xian asked. Not since the last call, Zhang Jinan replied. Did they say anything about who they are? No, just told me to have the bone ready. Zhang Jinan took a pendant from around his neck. It had a white, bone-like charm that also resembled jade. This is the bone? Yi Xian asked. Zhang Jinan nodded. A family heirloom, passed down for generations. Are you willing to give it up? Of course. I'd give up the entire Dingsheng group to get Wan back safely. A bone is nothing, he said, his face etched with worry. Yi Xian took the pendant. As he held it, his blood seemed to boil, his internal energy surging. It felt as if the bone was trying to merge with his body. He examined the pendant more closely. This was no ordinary bone. Where did this come from? Zhang Jinan shook his head. I don't know. It's been passed down. It's called the dragon bone, our family's most prized possession. He seemed unsure of its origins. What do we do now? He asked anxiously. Yi Xian said, they'll contact you again. I'll deliver the bone. Wan is so beautiful. I'm worried those animals will hurt her, Zhang Jinan said, his voice filled with dread. Yi Xian's expression darkened. Just then, Zhang Jinan's phone rang. He answered quickly. Hello? Did you find the bone? A voice demanded. Yes. I'll give it to you as soon as you release my daughter. You're quite fond of your daughter, the voice sneered. She's quite beautiful. I'm rather tempted myself. Please don't hurt her. I'll give you anything you want. Zhang Jinan pleaded, his voice breaking. Bring the bone to Xishan. There's an abandoned temple on the mountain. I'll be waiting. Once I have the bone, you'll have your daughter back, the voice instructed. Yes, I'll send it right away. I know you're connected to Night Watch. Don't try anything funny. If I suspect anything, your daughter will be violated and killed. Understood? No, I won't. I promise. He hung up. Yi Xian had overheard everything. I'll go, he said, gripping the dragon bone. Zhang Jinan nodded and suddenly knelt before Yi Xian. Mr. Zhang, what are you doing? Tears streamed down Zhang Jinan's face. Yi Xian, please. Wan is my everything. I can't bear the thought of anything happening to her. Please bring her back. Yi Xian sighed. I don't know who they are. I didn't bring my weapons. But I promise you, Wan is my friend. I would die before letting anything happen to her. Zhang Jinan wiped his tears. I know you're capable. I trust you. Give me your car keys, Yi Xian said. Xishan, on the outskirts of Jiangcheng, was sparsely populated. A planned tourist park had been abandoned mid-development. At the summit stood an old, supposedly sacred temple, occasionally visited by worshippers. Yi Xian had never been there. He drove to Xishan, hired a local guide, and soon found himself at the foot of a mountain path. The temple is up there, the guide said, pointing. Thank you, Yi Xian said, locking his car and starting up the path. He took his time, walking at a normal pace, but he noticed several hidden lookouts along the way. He ignored them, continuing his ascent. At the temple, 2 men stood guard. Zhang Wanwan sat nearby, unbound but trembling, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Helan sat beside her, the suited man standing guard. Don't be afraid, Helan said soothingly. We just want the bone. We won't hurt you. As soon as your father delivers it, you're free to go. Zhang Wanwan was terrified. Last night, she'd witnessed things beyond human comprehension. Helan's calm demeanor only intensified her fear. She huddled in a corner of the temple, helpless and alone. Helan's phone rang. Don't worry, he said after answering. Your father is sending the bone. As soon as I have it, you can leave. I'm not a monster. Why are you so afraid? The car couldn't go any further into the forest, so Yi Xian proceeded slowly on foot. He appeared like an average city dweller, unaccustomed to mountain trails, taking each step cautiously, yet with a sense of urgency. After about half an hour, he saw a dilapidated temple in the distance. Yi Xian exhaled, feigning exhaustion as he panted. He could already hear 2 long, drawn-out breaths. His heart sank slightly. Such slow, deep breaths indicated that these 2 were formidable experts, at least at the top level. This made Yi Xian's heart heavy. Among the top 10 on the underground assassin rankings, Zhou Hao was currently under Night Watch's control, imprisoned somewhere unknown. Red Rose was in Linhai. Now, 2 more had appeared, and Yi Xian suspected they might not even be from Red Lotus. He exhaled, pushing aside his thoughts, and ran towards the temple. Entering through the main gate, he saw Zhang Wanwan huddled in a corner, trembling and looking disheveled. Seeing her like this, Yi Xian's heart ached. This girl, usually aloof with strangers but playful with those she knew, was now distraught and hiding in a corner. Fortunately, she hadn't been harmed. Yi Xian glanced at the other 2 people not far away, and his heart surged with shock. It was them who had taken Zhang Wanwan, Helan Tian, the leader of Red Lotus. And Shadow, Red Lotus's top weapon. Yes, among the top 10 on the underground assassin rankings, Red Lotus occupied 3 spots. Besides Zhou Hao and Red Rose, there was another called Shadow. He rarely took action, usually staying by Helan Tian's side, but he ranked second on the underground assassin rankings. His most impressive feat was infiltrating a temporary Night Watch base, killing a former number 6 of Night Watch, and escaping unscathed. That battle had made him famous, propelling him to the top of the underground assassin rankings until Jian Xing's betrayal of Night Watch. Despite his shock, Yi Xian's face remained expressionless. He looked at Zhang Wanwan again and ran towards her. Wan. Yi Xian crouched beside her, taking her hand. It's me. I brought what they wanted. Don't worry, I'll take you back. Zhang Wanwan became even more frightened when she heard someone approaching. She was, after all, just a girl, a very ordinary girl. Unlike Qin Xiaowei, who had training, Zhang Wanwan was just a very beautiful, ordinary girl. Facing top experts of the underworld like Helan Tian and Shadow, who could bring her to this place without a sound, she felt utterly powerless and insignificant. Hearing Yi Xian's gentle voice, Zhang Wanwan slowly turned her head, her hands still covering her face. The moment she saw Yi Xian, she froze, and then her eyes turned red. Ah! Yi Xian! As if seeing hope, she broke down emotionally, throwing herself into Yi Xian's arms and hugging him tightly. Helan Tian remained seated, Shadow standing beside him. Helan Tian smiled, while Shadow, wearing sunglasses, remained cold and expressionless. They didn't interrupt Zhang Wanwan and Yi Xian, simply watching them. Don't cry. I'll take you home, Yi Xian said, gently pushing Zhang Wanwan away and smiling at her. Zhang Wanwan's tears continued to flow, but seeing Yi Xian, her emotions gradually calmed, and a sense of security rose within her. Clap! 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 Applause rang out, followed by Helan Tian's voice. What a loving couple, though not quite a match. I think this girl would be a good match for my deceased grandson. He died in your Jiangxing not long ago. Now, his remains are nowhere to be found. Yi Xian turned, shielding Zhang Wanwan behind him, and looked warily at Helan Tian and Shadow. This wasn't an act. He wasn't afraid of fighting Helan Tian and Shadow. But he was unarmed and had to consider Jiang Wanwan's safety, so he was genuinely wary. He didn't know what Yilan Tian might do. "Did you bring it?" Yilan Tian asked Exin. "Yes," Exin said, reaching into his pocket and taking out the bone. He opened his hand slightly, and the bone pendant floated in the air. A flicker of joy crossed Yilan Tian's eyes when he saw the pendant. He stroked his beard and said with a smile, "Ah, that Jiang Jinan didn't lie to me after all. It's a pity my grandson died in Jiangcheng because of him, though I don't know who did it." He continued indifferently, "This kid is probably Jiang Jinan's future son-in-law. Just kill him. A life for a life. As for this woman, she's so beautiful. Send her to Sin City. First, it can be used to control Jiang Jinan's wealth, and second, such a high-quality woman can fetch a high price in Sin City." Exin's heart turned cold. As expected, you couldn't judge Red Lotus members by normal standards. Yilan Tian smiled at Exin. "Kid, don't blame me. It's your bad luck for becoming Jiang Jinan's son-in-law." Exin involuntarily took a step back. Jiang Wanwan seemed to realize something. Terror filled her beautiful face. "Run, run, Exin, run. They're very powerful. They're not ordinary people. Run!" Exin also took a step back, feigning fear. "What are you going to do?" "Such deep love," Yilan Tian said with a smile. "Truly touching. Shadow, do it." Shadow, in a suit, walked towards Exin step by step. The corners of his mouth turned up beneath his sunglasses. Exin managed to squeeze out a few drops of sweat. "Exin, please don't worry about me, just run," Jiang Wanwan pleaded. Shadow stood before Exin, looking down at him, his smile widening. He didn't rush to attack, seemingly enjoying the look of desperation on his prey's face. Exin certainly played the part. As Shadow approached, the fear in his eyes intensified. He tightly gripped the cold, hard bone, which was continuously merging into his body. Shadow took Exin's hand and pried his fingers open one by one. At that moment, he sensed something was wrong. When Exin's fingers opened, only a string remained in his hand. The bone was gone. At the same time, the fear on Exin's face vanished. His voice suddenly rang out beside Shadow's ear. "For all that, breathe." Shadow's pupils contracted beneath his sunglasses. He instantly tried to retreat, but at this distance, Exin wouldn't give him the chance. The bone had merged into Exin's body, and his suppressed true chi surged. Boom! True chi exploded as Exin punched Shadow in the abdomen. Bang! Shadow's suit shattered. He felt as if his abdomen, his dantian, had been pierced. Against Exin's full-force punch at such close range, he had no power to resist. He was sent flying out of the temple. The smile froze on Yilan Tian's face. He looked at Exin, whose voice echoed in his ears. "Where the blade points, the heart follows. No retreat. Kill." Exin didn't know how the bone had merged into his body. The first time he touched it, he felt it trying to merge, but he resisted. After all, the bone was meant to save Jiang Wanwan. Just now, when he held the bone again, that merging sensation returned. Since the enemy was coming to take it, Exin abandoned his resistance and allowed the merging to happen. He felt the bone integrate into his body, and in the next instant his blood boiled. His true chi surged. His stagnant true chi suddenly leaped forward. Shadow, caught completely off guard by a sneak attack, didn't have a chance to react and went flying. Behind him, Jiang Wanwan stared at Exin, completely dumbfounded. Exin's origins were mysterious. She had always been curious about what he was and about the night watch he had mentioned. She had searched on Baidu, checked all kinds of information, but found nothing. Until yesterday, when she was taken by Shadow and Yilan Tian. She had her first encounter with people from the underworld. And now, with Exin's extraordinary display, she finally understood why her father was so respectful towards him and why he had Xinhai Bank's highest-level diamond card. Exin, just like the two who kidnapped her yesterday, was not an ordinary person. "Who are you?" Yilan Tian couldn't sit still any longer. He abruptly stood up. The power Exin had just unleashed terrified him. "Are you Lu Yang or someone else?" Yilan Tian exclaimed. "No, Lu Yang couldn't possibly have this level of strength. Are you Night Watch's mysterious number one?" Exin didn't answer. He shot towards Yilan Tian like a cannonball, shouting, "Yilan Tian, I thought you'd be a coward for years to come, but I didn't expect you to come out on your own." It's time to pay for your crimes. Helan Tion's face changed drastically. He exclaimed, "You're Zero Exin?" Yes, he had just heard Jiang Wanwan address Exin by name. He also knew that the former Zero was named Exin, but he hadn't connected the current Exin with the former Nightwatch Zero. There were too many people named Exin in the world. Moreover, Exin's disguise had been too good. He had walked the mountain road like an ordinary city person, panting and sweating profusely. When he saw them, his eyes were filled with fear. Who would have thought that the former Nightwatch Zero, the legendary killer who terrified the underworld, would stoop to such a level and resort to a sneak attack? Thinking of Exin's identity, Helan Tion's scalp went numb. He had been hiding all over the world for so many years, rarely showing himself, precisely because of Exin's words. Exin had said he would kill him with his own hands. 3 years ago, he had colluded with the Dempsey family, trying to kill Exin, Huang Shiqi, and Li Tangtang in Jiangsheng, even going so far as to use the iron box to lure Nightwatch in. In that battle, only Li Tangtang died. Exin had simply disappeared. They hadn't found his body. For the next 3 years, Exin had vanished without a trace. Even after his return, Nightwatch had completely concealed his information. All members of Red Lotus who knew Exin's identity, except for Red Rose, were dead. He thought it was safe, that he could come out and operate again. His grandson had been killed in Jiangsheng, his body never found. For the bone in Jiang Zhenan's possession, he had personally come to Jiangsheng with Shadow. And then he ran into Exin. How unlucky. So unlucky. Out of fear of Exin. Even though Exin had no weapon, he had no desire to fight. He only had one thought: to run. Run as far away as possible, hide, and never come out again unless absolutely necessary. He retreated quickly. Exin wouldn't let him go, but just then, a dark figure charged back into the temple, Shadow, whom Exin had just punched out. He charged back in, despite his serious injuries, choosing not to flee, as if Helan Tion's life was his own. He didn't charge at Exin, but straight towards Jiang Wanwan. A classic diversionary tactic. Looking for death. Exin snorted coldly. He abandoned his pursuit of Helan Tion, turned, leaped, and kicked Shadow in midair. Bang! Shadow was sent flying again, but he had bought Helan Tion time to escape. Helan Tion was incredibly fast. As the leader of Red Lotus, he was also a super expert. He rushed outside, caught the flying Shadow, and quickly ran down the mountain. Exin turned and ran to Jiang Wanwan. As she watched in shock, he wrapped his arm around her waist and rushed out of the temple. He had waited so many years for Helan Tion to appear. Naturally, he wouldn't let him escape now. As soon as he rushed out, he frowned slightly. "Stop him!" Helan Tion's voice echoed through the forest. Then, Exin sensed many people quickly surrounding the temple. Helan Tion was still the same Helan Tion. He was always so cautious. He knew Jiang Zhenan had connections with Nightwatch. Although he had threatened Jiang Zhenan, he was still worried that Nightwatch would come, so he had stationed many Red Lotus members in this area. Now, these people became obstacles to Exin's pursuit. Exin frowned. He knew that with these people blocking his way, it would be nearly impossible to chase Helan Tion. "Forget it, let's collect some interest first," he sighed, putting Jiang Wanwan down. At the same time, about 20 people with daggers emerged from the woods, surrounding Exin. Jiang Wanwan clutched Exin's clothes, fear etched on her face. Exin turned, smiled at her, took off his jacket, and crouched down. "Get on my back." Jiang Wanwan nodded quickly and climbed onto his back. Exin used his jacket to tie her to himself. "Hold on tight. Don't let go. And close your eyes. Don't open them, no matter what." Jiang Wanwan said obediently. "I've closed them." As her voice fell, she felt Exin move. The wind whistled past her ears, and then she heard screams. "Ah! Ah! Ah!" Among these Red Lotus members, there were 2 gold-level assassins. The rest were mostly red-level assassins. Nearly 30 people, it was quite a formidable lineup. But against Exin, who had just absorbed a mysterious bone, they were no match. Endless screams rang in Jiang Wanwan's ears. Occasionally, she felt warm liquid splattering on her face, carrying a bloody scent. She could guess what it was, and fear gripped her heart. But more than fear, there was curiosity. She wanted to open her eyes and see what was happening, but she didn't dare. She had grown up in peaceful times, unaware of the underworld, and had never seen anyone killed. She roughly knew what Exin was doing, so she didn't dare to look, only daring to keep her eyes tightly shut and hold on to Exin. Gradually, the screams grew fainter. At some point, she felt Exin stop. Can I open my eyes now? She asked. Keep them closed. Open them when I tell you to. Exin's voice sounded beside her ear. Then, she felt Exin walking, not very fast, as if going down the mountain. Half an hour later, Exin emerged from the forest. There were bloodstains on him, some splattered on Jiang Wanwan's face. He stopped, untied the jacket, and put Jiang Wanwan down. Don't open your eyes yet. He put the bloodstained jacket in the trunk, took out several bottles of water, walked over to Jiang Wanwan, and carefully wiped the blood off her face with water and tissues. He also cleaned himself up. After cleaning up, he smiled slightly. You can open your eyes now. Jiang Wanwan was an ordinary girl. He didn't want her to see such a bloody scene. Jiang Wanwan slowly opened her eyes and saw Exin in front of her, shirtless, his strong muscles on display. Her face flushed slightly. It's over. Let me take you home, Exin said with a smile, opening the car door. Just then, Jiang Wanwan suddenly threw herself at Exin. Before he could react, she kissed him. On the highway, a black car moved slowly forward. The driver, shirtless, sat behind the wheel. In the passenger seat sat a girl as beautiful as a celestial being, but her face was flushed crimson. She pursed her lips and looked out the window. Earlier, she didn't know why. Perhaps overwhelmed by emotion, she hadn't been able to resist and had kissed him. The atmosphere in the car was a little awkward. Exin coughed. Weren't you curious about Night Watch, about Zero? Weren't you curious about how I saved your father? I can answer you now. Exin wasn't supposed to tell ordinary people about these things. The existence of Night Watch was a huge secret. But Jiang Wanwan had experienced all this and had heard about Red Lotus and just heard Exin call someone to clean up the scene. Since she knew and had been exposed to these things, it was okay to tell her. However, Exin's attempt to change the subject was obviously a bit clumsy. Jiang Wanwan quickly turned her head and looked at Exin curiously. In fact, she was very curious about all of this, curious about Exin's origins, curious about everything about him. She didn't know when her curiosity about Exin had turned into a desire to understand everything about him. Exin nodded quickly. You know, when I was in Linhai, I was framed by Yi Zhongheng and those guys and went to prison. I was completely desperate because the sentence was severe. Then, while I was in prison, a very creepy old man came to me and asked if I wanted to leave with him. He said he could get me out of prison. Exin talked freely about his experience of joining Night Watch and then introduced Night Watch. Of course, he couldn't reveal the core information. Not unless Jiang Wanwan also joined Night Watch. As she listened to Exin, Jiang Wanwan still found it hard to believe. Even after he finished, she subconsciously asked, You're not lying to me, are you? Look who you're talking to. Do I look like the kind of person who lies? Exin said, Pidsri, pouting slightly. Last time when you talked to Huang Shiqi, you told me Night Watch was a security company. And you say you don't like to lie. Jiang Wanwan wrinkled her nose. Exin laughed. Well, the fewer people who know about our existence, the better. I only told your father after I saved him. And my diamond card from Xinhai Bank? I got that after saving the owner of the bank. Jiang Wanwan was silent for a moment, then looked at Exin and asked, Are there any requirements for joining Night Watch? Don't even think about it, Exin said. Night Watch is incredibly tough, especially in the beginning. And even after you get through the initial stage, you have to officially join a team and carry out missions. You could get killed at any moment. You should just keep this secret and stay in the city. Live a good life. But you just said Xiaowei has already joined. I definitely can too. We're best friends. I want to go find her. Jiang Wanwan insisted. As they talked, they drove into Jiang Wanwan's neighborhood. They had already called Jiang Zhenan, who had skipped work and rushed over to wait for them. When Exin and Jiang Wanwan entered the house, Jiang Zhenan was first stunned to see Exin shirtless. Then he rushed to Jiang Wanwan and hugged her tightly. Wanwan, you scared me to death. You really scared me to death. Jiang Wanwan's tears flowed when she saw her father. Father and daughter talked for a long time before letting go. Jiang Zhenan looked at Wanwan and said, Go take a shower and get some sleep. You haven't slept all night, have you? Zhang Wanwan nodded, then looked at Exin. I don't have any men's clothes here. Dad, have someone from the company buy some and send them over. Zhang Jinan quickly took out his phone and gave instructions. Zhang Wanwan went upstairs to take a shower. After Zhang Wanwan left, thump. Zhang Jinan knelt down in front of Exin. He said, Exin, thank you, really thank you. You saved my life and Wanwan's life. I really don't know how to thank you. Exin quickly helped him up. Uncle Jiang, don't do this. Wanwan is a very good friend of mine. Even without that, I would have saved her. After helping Zhang Jinan sit down, Zhang Jinan looked at Exin and said, I really don't know how to thank you, or what to thank you with. How about, I give you Wanwan? How about you marry her? Exin. Ahem. Remembering Zhang Wanwan's kiss in the car, Exin glanced at Zhang Jinan with a guilty conscience. Uncle Jiang, to be honest, Wanwan is definitely more than worthy of me, but you know my identity, you know who I am, and you know the dangers I face. I might be killed tomorrow while on a mission, Exin said. Zhang Jinan pondered. Then I'll send Wanwan a night watch. She's young. It's not too late for her to join. If she becomes your comrade, wouldn't that work? You're willing to send her to night watch? Exin asked in surprise. Zhang Jinan sighed. I don't care about my own life or death, but after last time and this time, I'm truly scared. I don't know if there will be a next time. Exin fell silent. He was right. Red Lotus was clearly targeting Zhang Jinan for the bone. Now that the bone had been absorbed by him, Helan Tian might think he had given him a fake, and he might still target Zhang Jinan and Zhang Wanwan. He pondered for a moment. How about this, Uncle Jiang? For your safety, I need to send you and Wanwan to Night Watch headquarters for a while. You can come back after I've eliminated Red Lotus. As for your company, I'll have President Lei from Hanyu Group send someone over to make sure it's well managed. Zhang Jinan's face lit up. That's perfect. Exin smiled. Then it's settled. He coughed. Well, Uncle Jiang, about that bone you gave me. I somehow absorbed it. It's inside my body now. Zhang Jinan was taken aback, clearly not understanding what Exin meant. But his eyes darted around, and he said meaningfully, Exin, that was our family heirloom, only to be passed down to the next generation. Now that it's inside your body, in a way, you're part of the Jiang family. It was chosen for you by our ancestors. You really have to be with Wanwan. After all, it's heaven's will. That works too. Exin was dumbfounded. He didn't continue the conversation with Zhang Jinan. If he did, he was afraid Zhang Jinan's ancestors would be rolling in their graves. He quickly took out his phone and called Jichuyu. The call connected quickly, and Jichuyu asked, how did it go? Helan Tian personally made a move. Exin said, is Zhang Wanwan safe now? Jichuyu asked again. Safe. I've rescued her. Exin said, exhaling. But my identity has probably been exposed. I couldn't kill Helan Tian. He ran away, but the shadow by his side is probably crippled. Are you all right? Jichuyu asked. Exin said proudly. Of course I'm all right. That bastard Helan Tian ran away as soon as he saw me, like a turtle. Then his tone turned serious. Helan Tian and Shadow came personally to capture them. Helan Tian's goal was a bone they had. I suspect his attack on the Wang family was for the same reason. Okay, we'll discuss it in detail when you return to Yinjing, Jichuyu said. Right, you need to send someone to take Zhang Wanwan and Zhang Jinan to Night Watch headquarters. I'm worried Red Lotus will continue to target them, Exin said. All right, I'll make arrangements, Jichuyu said. Meanwhile, on the highway nearly 50 kilometers from Jiangcheng, Helan Tian was driving. Shadow, hang in there, hang in there. Helan Tian yelled. I'm taking you to Jianxing. He can definitely heal you. Shadow didn't speak. He leaned back, his face pale. Cough. He coughed occasionally, blood trickling out. Helan Tian kept his foot on the gas pedal, his face filled with anxiety. While driving, he made a phone call. Soon a hoarse voice answered. Hello. Didn't I say not to contact me if it wasn't important? Jianxing, Night Watch Zero has appeared. It's that Exin. He's shown himself. Helan Tian roared into the phone. I know he's appeared. I even spoke with him on the phone. Jianxing's raspy voice sounded. Helan Tian was stunned, then roared. Then why didn't you tell me he was still alive? If you had told me, I wouldn't have come out. Why should I tell you? And you didn't ask. Jian Xing's hoarse voice sounded lazy. Lin Shaohua asked me, so I told him. Helan Tian was dumbfounded, then gritted his teeth. Fine, it doesn't matter if I didn't ask. Now go kill him for me. He's in Jiangcheng. No, Jian Xing said flatly. No, Jian Xing said calmly. Jian Xing's refusal stunned Helan Tian again. He gritted his teeth and said, Jian Xing, what do you mean? You were the one who came to us for cooperation. I agreed to cooperate with you, but I didn't say I would help you kill people, Jian Xing said indifferently. I understand. You're just afraid of Zero, whether it's Xin or the current Liu Yang, Helan Tian said flatly. That Jian Xing chuckled, his voice raspy. I don't take them seriously at all. I never have, whether it's the current Zero or the previous one. Only you people are so afraid. In that case, I won't come out until Xin is dead. Helan Tian hung up the phone angrily after saying this. He turned and looked at Shadow. Shadow, hold on. You must hold on. Xin waited downstairs at Jiang Wanwan's house. Zhang Zhenan sat beside him. After about half an hour, Jiang Wanwan came downstairs in her pajamas. Her hair was piled up on her head, and she was as beautiful as a fresh lotus flower emerging from the water. Xin's eyes lit up slightly. Dad, why aren't you asleep yet? She asked in surprise when she saw Zhang Zhenan. Zhang Zhenan noticed Xin's gaze and chuckled. What do you think, Xin? My daughter is beautiful, right? Why don't you marry her? Jiang Wanwan blushed. Dad, what nonsense are you talking about? Knock! 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 A knock came at the door. Xin quickly opened it, and a man stood there holding 2 bags of clothes. He was slightly stunned when he saw Xin. Clothes? Xin took the clothes. Thank you. Zhang Zhenan also said, Shaoli, go back to the company and continue working after you've delivered these. You two should get some sleep. I've already told someone to come and take you to Night Watch headquarters, Xin said to the 2 of them. I'll stay here until they come to pick you up. Also, Uncle Jiang, you have to take care of the company matters. Do you want to choose someone yourself? Or should I have Hanyu Group send someone over? Send someone over. I trust your judgment, Zhang Zhenan said. Xin nodded and called Lei Bin. After explaining the situation, Lei Bin said he would send someone over within the day. Xin checked the time. It was already 4 or 5 in the afternoon. After talking with them for a bit longer, he persuaded them to go back to their rooms to rest. He also took a shower, changed his clothes, and then sat down on the sofa in the living room. He exhaled and began to think about recent events. Jian Xing had appeared. The hiding Helan Tian and Shadow had also shown up, and the people of the underworld were becoming increasingly active. Zhui Yiming and Wang Hong, who had been at Night Watch headquarters for so many years, had also appeared in Yinjing. The situation might be worse than Xin had imagined. He murmured, as expected, is the war about to begin? Or has it already begun? What war is about to begin? On the first floor, a door suddenly opened, and Jiang Wanwan came out in her pajamas. She looked out the window. Outside, everything was peaceful and quiet. Cars moved slowly through the villa area. Elderly people walked their dogs in the gardens, and occasionally couples passed by. It was a peaceful and beautiful world, but she didn't know that undercurrents were surging in the dark side of this world. Xin smiled. A war you wouldn't understand. You'll understand when you and your father go to Night Watch headquarters. He changed the subject. Why aren't you sleeping yet? Zhang Wanwan muttered. I can't sleep. Everything that's happened since yesterday feels like a dream. Xin was speechless. Indeed, for Zhang Wanwan, the impact of everything that had happened was too great. Zhang Wanwan sat down next to Xin. A fragrance wafted into his nostrils, making his heart race. Although I still don't know much about you, I will join you, Zhang Wanwan said. Until one day, I can stand by your side. Xin turned and looked at Zhang Wanwan's beautiful face. His heart skipped a beat, but he suppressed his primal urges and said, I won't stop you from making your choice, but as I said before, being in Night Watch is hard. Harder than you can imagine, especially in the beginning. I'm not afraid, Zhang Wanwan said through gritted teeth. 2 days later, at the entrance of Zhang Wanwan's house, Xin stood with Zhang Wanwan and Zhang Zhenan. An SUV stopped in front of the house, and a short, dark figure jumped out. He had a cigarette dangling from his lips, wore flip-flops, a tank top, and beach shorts, looking like the ultimate loser. They sent you to pick us up? Yi Xen asked in surprise. I also think it's a bit of overkill, but since people like Elan Tian and Shadow are personally involved, only I can deter them, Lu Yang said proudly, taking a deep drag on his cigarette. Yi Xen clearly saw that the cigarette shortened by almost half with that one puff. And as he spoke, he didn't exhale any smoke, as if he had swallowed it directly. He walked up to the three of them and said, "You two, load your luggage into the car." As he said this, he exhaled a cloud of smoke, blowing it right into their faces. "You bastard!" Yi Xen cursed inwardly. Jiang Wanwan couldn't help but cover her nose and cough. Yi Xen quickly helped Jiang Wanwan and Jiang Jinan load their things into the car. After they got in, Jiang Wanwan looked at Yi Xen and asked, "When will you be back?" "I don't know." Yi Xen smiled. "Just call me if you need anything. They don't restrict phone use there." "Okay." Jiang Wanwan's expression was complex. "Let's go. We'll meet again," Yi Xen said with a smile. At that moment, Lu Yang poked his head out of the car window. "Yi Xen, I know your level is still a bit lacking against that old dog Dempsey. If you need my help, just contact me. I'll help you chop him down with one blow." Yi Xen touched his nose. This time, he didn't argue with Lu Yang. After Lu Yang finished speaking, he stepped on the gas pedal, and the SUV slowly started, heading out of the neighborhood. After they disappeared from sight, Yi Xen let out a long breath, locked the door of Jiang Wanwan's house, and turned to walk outside. His main reason for returning to Jiangcheng was to help Jiang Wanwan, but since he was back, he naturally had to see Yang Chong. Yang Chong had moved out of his villa. Yes, after Yi Xen left, he felt the villa was too big and he wasn't used to living there with his child. So he bought a second-hand apartment and moved in. Yi Xen knew the address. He took a taxi and quickly arrived at the entrance of Yang Chong's community. It was Saturday and Yang Chong wasn't working. He checked the specific address, asked the security guard for directions, and quickly entered the complex. Soon, he arrived at Yang Chong's door. When he got there, he found the door was open, and he could hear a child crying and another voice. He couldn't help but frown. "Yang Chong!" A woman's voice rang out. "We're not divorced yet. Half of this house is mine, and half of the money you have is mine too. This is our marital property." Yi Xen's heart skipped a beat. He knew that Yang Chong's runaway wife had returned. Judging by the sounds, there were several people inside. She had brought people to Yang Chong's house to cause trouble. Yi Xen didn't rush in, but stood at the door, listening with interest. "Li Wan, don't go too far," Yang Chong cursed. "After Nin was born, you came here and ran off with this man. Now that you've discovered I have some money, you come running back with him and want to share my assets? Have you no shame?" "Hey kid, what did you just say? Do you want a beating?" a man roared. "You have the guts to beat me to death." Yang Chong yelled back. Li Wan sneered. "Why should I have stayed? Wasn't it because I was young and foolish when I married you? And it is my child, and we're not divorced. Legally speaking, since we haven't divorced, half of the money you earned after marriage is mine. Half of this house is mine, and so are your savings." Not far away, Yi Xen was speechless. This Li Wan was the wife Yang Chong married back in the countryside. He suddenly realized that there were quite a few shameless people in this world. This Li Wan's shamelessness was comparable to Bai Lianxiang and Lin Qingxue, or even worse. Bai Lianxiang and Lin Qingxue only wanted a share of his wealth after the divorce, when they discovered he was rich. But this Li Wan, after coming to the city, abandoned her husband and child, leaving Yang Chong to struggle alone with an N who had a congenital disease. Now, after finding out through relatives that Yang Chong had money, she actually wanted to come back and take half. This was truly excessive. "You're dreaming," Yang Chong sneered. "My money has nothing to do with you." "Mr. Yang," another voice chimed in. "I'm Ms. Li Wan's lawyer. Legally speaking, Ms. Li Wan and you are still married. You haven't gone through divorce procedures, so your current property and savings can be considered marital assets. Naturally, half should be given to Ms. Li Wan. If you give it now, it's easier for everyone. If you don't, we'll go through legal procedures and everyone will waste time. Go ahead and sue me. I don't believe there's no justice in this world," Yang Chong retorted. "Kid, you won't give it, huh?" The voice that had threatened Yang Chong earlier said. "Fine, if you don't give it, think about your child's safety. And don't think you'll get a good night's sleep. I have plenty of time to play with you. Do you know who I work for? Wang Zhen, Brother Zhen. Have you heard of him? In Jiangcheng, you should have heard of this guy, right? Can you afford to offend him? Hearing this, Yi Xian walked forward and pushed the door open. He looked into the living room. Yang Chong was sitting on the sofa, holding it in. A man with glasses and a briefcase sat opposite them, holding a document. At the same time, a man with tattooed arms stood there, and beside him stood a heavily made-up woman. The woman's appearance was passable. She should be Li Wan. In addition, there were several other thug-like men standing there, looking at Yang Chong with smirks. "Yo, quite lively," Yi Xian said to Yang Chong with a smile. Yang Chong's heart leaped with joy when he saw Yi Xian. He held it in tightly, and the child was crying out of fear. When the tattooed man saw Yi Xian walk in, he frowned. "Who are you? This doesn't concern you. Get out." Yi Xian glanced at him indifferently, then walked over to Yang Chong. "I told you a long time ago to settle things with this woman. There's no shortage of shameless people in this world." "What do you mean?" Li Wan glared at Yi Xian. "Can't you understand what I mean?" Yi Xian raised an eyebrow at her. "I'm saying you're a shameless woman. How can you have the nerve to come back?" For so many years, while Anan was sick, Yang Chong worked himself to death at the construction site to earn money for An's chemotherapy. Now that he finally has a decent job and An's illness is cured, you come running back to ask for money and a share of his assets? Do you have any shame at all? Li Wan glared, and the tattooed man beside her stepped forward and pointed at Yi Xian. "Who the hell are you talking to?" "Don't argue, everyone. Don't argue," the lawyer who was sitting said with a smile. "My friend, saying these things is useless. They're not divorced. Everything Yang Chong has earned is marital property. Besides, this is a matter between husband and wife. It has nothing to do with you." "What's this?" Yi Xian asked, picking up the two documents on the table. "One is a divorce agreement, and the other is a property division agreement," the lawyer said with a smile. "As a lawyer, do you really take any case?" Yi Xian asked him. The lawyer shrugged indifferently. Yi Xian chuckled softly, and rip. He tore up the property division agreement. "Kid, are you looking for death?" The tattooed man's face darkened. "Who are you? What does my business with Yang Chong have to do with you?" Li Wan also glared at Yi Xian. Yi Xian smiled faintly, threw the torn pieces of paper on the ground, and said calmly, "I'm Yang Chong's boss." Li Wan's pupils constricted slightly. She knew Yang Chong worked at Shengshi Logistics. As the largest logistics company in Jiangcheng, Shengshi Logistics was worth about 200 million. For ordinary people like them, this value was quite terrifying. For a moment, both of them were speechless. "So what if you're rich?" Li Wan finally mumbled weakly. "Let me be clear, you won't get a single cent," Yi Xian said, then looked at the tattooed man. "If I heard correctly, you work for Wang Zhen, right? What's your name?" "My name is Zhou Shun. You can go ask around about me," the tattooed man sneered. Yi Xian touched his nose. "Zhou Shun, I understand. I'll be sure to ask Wang Zhen about you. You can leave now. If you want to sue, go ahead. Our company's legal department is open to you. If you have anything to discuss, go to Shengshi and talk to the legal department. Don't harass Yang Chong." Zhou Shun felt something was wrong. He looked at Yi Xian and said, "What do you mean? Do you know Brother Zhen?" As they were talking, one of the men behind him looked at Yi Xian, his expression suddenly changing. He walked up to Zhou Shun and whispered, "Brother Shun, I think I remember. This is the guy who put Brother Zhen and Tao Dingyun in the hospital at the internet cafe before." Back then, he thought for a moment, not daring to reveal the truth, then said, "Anyway, Brother Zhen told us later that we should never provoke him. If this gets back to Brother Zhen, we might be finished." Zhou Shun trembled when he heard this. Yi Xian overheard their conversation, and a smile appeared on his lips. Seeing Yi Xian smile, Zhou Shun's face turned even uglier. He walked up to Yi Xian and said, "Brother, I'm sorry. I really didn't know you had this kind of relationship with Brother Zhen. Well, I don't want the money anymore. We also guarantee we won't harass Yang Chong anymore. Could you please not tell Brother Zhen about this?" "Don't want it anymore?" Li Wan exclaimed. "Zhou Shun, this is tens of thousands. You don't want it anymore?" Yi Xian was truly speechless. Just how shameless could a woman be to say such a thing? Slap! Zhou Shun was terrified when he heard Li Wan's words. He quickly slapped her across the face and cursed, "Shut up!" Li Wan was stunned after being slapped, completely bewildered. Zhou Shun snapped back to attention after the slap. He looked at Yi Xian and said, "Brother, I don't really have any feelings for this woman. It's just a casual fling. I can break up with her right away. Please don't tell Brother Jin about this. Yi Xin was amused. He looked at Zhou Shun with interest. Beside them, Li Wan covered her face, stunned after hearing his words. Back then, she had run away with this man. What happened between them after that had nothing to do with Yi Xin. He just wanted to see Yang Chong and give him some instructions. After thinking it over, he decided not to bring Yang Chong into the night watch. Yang Chong wasn't like Jiang Wei. He wasn't as sharp and was too simple. Unlike Jiang Wei, who was alone, Yang Chong also had an in. So, he came back this time to see Yang Chong and transfer some shares of Shengshi Logistics to him so that Yang Chong could live comfortably in the city without worrying about money. He hadn't expected to encounter this situation. He knew Li Wan had returned, but he didn't expect the man she ran off with to be a thug. Yi Xin looked at Zhou Shun, then at Li Wan. Whether you break up with this shameless woman or not is none of my business. If you don't want this to get back to Wang Jun, it's simple. Yi Xin touched his nose. If I'm not mistaken, you've been harassing Yang Chong for quite some time, haven't you? Shouldn't you pay for the emotional distress you caused? Zhou Shun forced a smile. I don't have any money. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come with Li Wan to swindle Yang Chong. If I had known Yang Chong knew you, and you knew Brother Jin, I wouldn't have dared to harass him. Not even if you gave me 100 times the courage. Yang Chong waved his hand. Yi Xin, forget it. Just get them out of here. This woman disgusts me. Back then, she left me because I was poor and ran off to the city with this man. Now she shamelessly comes back asking for money. Li Wan gritted her teeth and looked at Yang Chong. It was you who were poor. I wanted to come back before, but you didn't want me, so I had to ask Zhou Shun to get money from you. Hearing this, Yi Xin realized there was more to the story. While he was away from Jiangcheng, Yang Chong's life seemed to have been quite eventful. This Li Wan completely shattered Yi Xin's worldview. He thought Li Wan just discovered Yang Chong had some money and wanted to share, but it turned out she actually wanted to come back and live with him before. Have them sign the divorce agreement, and then leave, Yang Chong said. Holding it in, he stood up, signed the divorce agreement, and tossed it to Li Wan. Li Wan gritted her teeth. I won't sign. I won't sign a single word until I get the money. Slap. Zhou Shun slapped her again. Li Wan, do you want to die? Don't drag me down with you. Li Wan gritted her teeth, still persisting. Clearly, she still wanted a share of Yang Chong's assets, even after being slapped twice by Zhou Shun. It's fine if you don't sign, Yi Xin said. Then we'll see you in court. It'll be a good opportunity to show everyone your ugly face. Zhou Shun's expression changed slightly. Brother, this was someone who dared to put Wang Jun and Tao Dingyun in the hospital. How could he dare to provoke him? Get out, do you understand? Yi Xin asked. Hearing this, Zhou Shun didn't dare to ask any more questions. He pulled Li Wan and nervously walked towards the door. Yi Xin watched Li Wan. This woman seemed even more shameless than by Lin Xiang and Lin Qingxue. As they left, an idea struck him. He said to Yang Chong, the villa you used to live in will transfer the ownership later. I'll give it to you. Whether you want to live in it or sell it is up to you. Also, I plan to transfer some company shares to you. Li Wan trembled when she heard this. Giving him a villa and transferring shares? The man who had left the countryside with her now had an annual salary of $1 million, and his boss was even giving him a villa and company shares. Instantly, she was filled with regret. Because of poverty, unwillingness to suffer, and inability to resist temptation, she had abandoned her husband and child. And now, her husband seemed to be getting rich. The man she ran off with beat and scolded her and was just a thug in Jiangcheng. The comparison made her want to cry. She wanted to turn back and say something, but Zhou Shun dragged her towards the door. He didn't dare to stay any longer and didn't dare ask if Yi Xin would tell Wang Jin. After everyone left and the door was closed, Yang Chong breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at Yi Xin and said, Thank you. I didn't know what to do. Yi Xin smiled. Pack your things. Let's go transfer the ownership. Huh? Yang Chong was stunned. Transfer what? Didn't you just say those things to anger Li Wan? It was to anger her, but it was also my original intention. I probably won't be back in Jiangcheng much in the future, and we won't see each other often. You don't have to manage Shengshi Logistics. After you get the shares, The annual dividends will be deposited into your account. But don't go crazy with the money. Find a reliable woman and start a new family, Yi Xian said. Of course, if you want to learn something, you can also learn from He Gang. No, I can't accept this, Yang Chong quickly said. Yi Xian looked at Yang Chong. Don't refuse, Yang Chong. You should know by now that I'm not an ordinary person. I can't explain too much to you. I don't have many friends, and Shingshu Logistics isn't that important to me. A 200 million company isn't that big. I want my friends to be happy and not worry about money. I probably won't be back in Jiangsu much in the future. So don't refuse. Not coming back to Jiangsu much? Yang Chong frowned deeply. Then, where are you going? I'm in Yinjing now, but you can contact me on WeChat, Yi Xian said with a smile. Yang Chong frowned. I still don't want it. I don't feel comfortable. For Yang Chong, such sudden wealth was a rare opportunity, but he was just a simple, rural person. Just like the first time he met Yi Gang, he could barely stand after Yi Gang mentioned his annual salary. You'll get used to it. Stop talking nonsense. Pack up and come with me to sign the transfer agreement, Yi Xian said, not giving Yang Chong a chance to react. That afternoon, after everything was settled, Yi Xian had dinner with Yang Chong, and then he bid farewell. He took a plane back to Yinjing again. Around 10 o'clock at night, in a large courtyard in Yinjing, an old man wearing reading glasses held a medical book in his hands. He lay on a rocking chair, swaying back and forth as he read. Master Ho, a woman who looked like a housekeeper walked in and said, Su has woken up? Yes, this old man was the famous doctor of Yinjing, Ho Yaowen. Ho Yaowen's expression changed, and he put away the book. His hair was gray, but he walked with a steady gait. Following the housekeeper, he entered a room. Inside, Su Jiang, wrapped in bandages, lay in bed. His eyes were open, filled with endless resentment. He had been unconscious for 3 whole days after being beaten by Yi Xian and Huang Shiqi. Master, you have to avenge me, Su Jiang pleaded as he saw Ho Yaowen enter. Ho Yaowen glanced at him indifferently. I told you, don't go to that underground casino. The people behind it are not good people, and there are many people from the underworld there. But you wouldn't listen. He narrowed his eyes slightly. However, you are my disciple. If they dare to lay a hand on you, they must consider the consequences. Do you know who did it? His name is Yi Xian, Su Jiang quickly said. He's connected to old Master Huang of the Huang family. I also suspect he's a night watchman. Ho Yaowen's expression shifted slightly, and he said calmly, I'll go to the Huang family right now. After arriving in Yinjing, Yi Xian took a taxi straight home. He opened the door to find the 3 girls sitting on the sofa. Seeing him return safe and sound, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Zhichuyu stood up, walked over to Yi Xian, and said, Come to the operating room. I'm fine, Yi Xian replied. Just come, Zhichuyu said flatly. Yi Xian was speechless. Zhichuyu was the same as always. Usually she was fine, but whenever he went on a major mission or encountered dangerous individuals, regardless of whether he was injured or not, she would insist on a full physical examination. Yi Xian gave a wry smile and followed Zhichuyu to the operating room. Zhichuyu put on a mask and gloves, changed into a white coat, then turned to look at Yi Xian sitting there. She frowned and asked, What are you waiting for? Get undressed. Yi Xian had been used to this before, but since Zhichuyu hadn't properly examined him in 3 years, he felt a little embarrassed. Looking at Zhichuyu's face, he had no choice but to comply with her request. Zhichuyu walked over to Yi Xian. Her eyes seemed devoid of much emotion as she carefully examined his body. After a moment, she seemed to sense something. She looked up and glared at Yi Xian. Control yourself, she said. Yi Xian was extremely embarrassed and quickly covered himself. After the examination, Zhichuyu removed her mask with an impassive expression. Did you eat something? Your true qi feels a bit off. Let's talk outside, Yi Xian said. The 2 left the operating room. Huang Shiqi looked at the slightly flushed Yi Xian with a teasing smile. TSK, you actually blush now? Weren't you always begging and clinging to Dr. Zhe for an examination before? Cough. Yi Xian coughed awkwardly. At that moment, Huang Shiqi's expression shifted slightly. Did you break through again? In terms of martial prowess, Huang Shiqi was superior to Zhichuyu. After all, she was ranked number 2. Without directly examining Yi Xian, She quickly sensed the change in him. Yixian nodded. Indeed, I've had a bit of a breakthrough, and that's what I wanted to tell you about. Oh, all three of them looked at him. Actually, haven't we always been curious why Red Lotus keeps targeting wealthy families? Yixian said. Their goal is likely a strange type of bone that these people possess. A strange bone? Huang Shiqi looked at Yixian in surprise. Zhang Jinan had one of these bones. This time, Helan Tian came out of seclusion, and Shadow personally kidnapped Zhang Wanwan. When I went to rescue her, I absorbed the bone, and over the past 3 days, I felt myself break through, Yixian explained, exhaling. Huang Shiqi was slightly surprised. Zhiqiu sighed. I need to report this. Yixian didn't object. Then he said thoughtfully, Oh, there's another thing I need to tell you. We never knew where the people kidnapped by Red Lotus were taken. Helan Tian revealed a bit that day. They were most likely sent to Sin City, and I'm afraid their fate won't be good. The expressions of both Huang Shiqi and Zhiqiu changed slightly. They had been to Sin City. It was a paradise for the underground world, easy to enter, difficult to leave. When they accompanied Yixian on a mission there, they barely escaped with their lives. That place was where even the Night Watch couldn't interfere on this planet. All right, I'll report it all together, Zhiqiu said, exhaling. Yixian hadn't mentioned these things on the phone, and Zhiqiu didn't report them directly by phone either. This kind of information was top secret. How are things here? Yixian asked. No movement for now, Zhiqiu replied. They don't seem to have any intention of making a move. I don't know what's going on, but I guess the Legion commander and the others probably know about the bone. Otherwise, they wouldn't have said Wang Jieqi is so important. Yixian pondered and then nodded. Possibly. Get some rest. Go meet with Wang Jieqi tomorrow. Zhiqiu paused, then remembered something. By the way, you said you were exposed before? Yixian nodded. Helan Tian saw my face, but he didn't take any pictures. If he doesn't show up, no one should know what I look like. That's good. We can still send you to Wang Jieqi's side for protection under the guise of work, Zhiqiu said. Go and rest. Yixian nodded. After a simple wash, he lay down on the sofa and fell into a deep sleep. In Yanjing, inside the Huang family's residence, there were quite a few security personnel. As one of the richest people in the world, the Huang family took their security very seriously. Old Master Huang was sitting on the sofa watching TV, with Huang Xian accompanying him. She glanced at the time and said, Grandpa, it's almost time for you to rest. I should go back to sleep too. Huang Zongshi actually had quite a few grandchildren. Huang Jieqi and Huang Xian were just two of them. After all, the Huang family was considered a wealthy and influential clan, though they usually kept a low profile. Among them all, Huang Zongshi's favorite was Huang Xian. Huang Xian often came to keep him company. Old Huang, come out here. A vigorous voice suddenly sounded from outside. Then someone ran over and said, Old Master Ho Yaowen is here. Huang Zongshi's expression shifted slightly. What's that old man doing here? And from the sound of it, he seems quite angry. Invite him in, Huang Zongshi said. Soon, Ho Yaowen entered the room. He gave Huang Zongshi a cold look and sat down on the sofa. Huang Zongshi, you've gotten quite bold, daring to lay hands on my people? Huang Zongshi looked up at him and said indifferently, I don't understand what you mean. Humph. You know Yixian, right? Ho Yaowen asked calmly. I do. So? Huang Zongshi replied. 3 days ago, he was at the Yanjing underground casino, bidding against my disciple Su Jiang, and took a knife, Ho Yaowen said with a sneer. He bought it, so what? Huang Zongshi said dismissively. Blame it on your being too poor. Humph. Ho Yaowen looked at Huang Zongshi. Yes, he bought it, but after they left, Su Jiang was beaten by him and remained unconscious for 3 days before waking up. Huang Zongshi feigned surprise, then said with interest, Is that so? I didn't know. Ho Yaowen sneered. Stop pretending. Hand over Yixian. Have him apologize to my disciple and return the knife, and we'll consider the matter settled. Huang Zongshi laughed. He looked at Ho Yaowen and said, You probably don't know that Su Jiang almost killed me. Ho Yaowen frowned. Huang Zongshi glanced disdainfully at Ho Yaowen. And even without that, Su Jiang got beaten up, and you didn't even ask why before coming here to cause trouble? To put it bluntly, Ho Yaowen, Who do you think you are, coming to my Huang family to act all high and mighty? I'm giving you face because I don't want to make a scene. That Yi Xian is Huang Xian's fiancé, my favorite grandson-in-law. If you dare touch a hair on his head, I'll scatter the ashes of your ancestors, believe it or not. Ho Yaowen was stunned. He didn't expect Huang Zhongshi to be so protective of Yi Xian. He stared intently at Huang Zhongshi and sneered. I know what kind of person my disciple is. Don't make up false accusations against him. If he wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already, instead of sitting here perfectly fine. You won't hand over Yi Xian, right? Fine, we'll play the long game. I'll play along. Huang Zhongshi waved his hand. Show him out.